The world governments are inside our whole biosphere, as well as the government outside of our local planetary neighborhood, as well as the government inside the ocean. Don't want you to know this information about exobiospheric organisms. There's a whole campaign that they are disinforming everybody about this. And you will get the prime info here.
Yeah. Bitch high as fuck, go through walls and shit. Yo. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's fitting for that guy. Hey. It's time to read some more SCP Foundation Wiki. So take a look at this. They silenced him, dude. I heard his mic cut out. They silenced him. Check this out. We're talking about a lot of shit all over the internet recently, okay? But what's up with this? Yeah? Out of all the information we've been just like gathering and shit posting about and theorizing about, what the fuck is this? So I like kind of read a little bit about this. Usually like this ain't like the organization, this is like, you know, the motto. And the reason you have a patch is really just for like, you know, standard operating procedure. They ain't looking for what's on the patch most of the time unless you're stopped for clearance. Otherwise, it's just to like clarify that you're part of the branch, but you're in like, you know, this special program. Measure, analyze, protect. Huh. Well, ain't that interesting? Yeah, it sounds very familiar too. That sounds incredibly similar to secure, contain, protect. And it seems to be that, like the further reading, part of this could be either side of the coin. This could be literal or this could be like some other branch thing. But the whole thing I see here that's very funny to me is that I saw the thread that's like, this shows up quoted twice, right? In official documents. We also utilize, what was it? I'm gonna look it up. I'm looking it up. Because this is just great. It really like affords all my theory, my theory crafting. Let's see here. Measure, analyze, protect. Protect is already quite an interesting thing, but NHI is appearing to be similar to this. We got another like chain of words that mean something like, you know, vastly different. But it's kind of like, you know, a hit. It's like an SEO term. You know, once you get a hit on it, you've hit it like an actual acronym. Measure, analyze, protect, and control. Control. Control is very, very similar to contain. Okay, but then measure, analyze, predict, protect, and control. So, yeah. If anything, you know, what I'm about to read could be considered predictive. But all the theorems can go in the fucking garbage bin for all I care, because this is where it's at. This is where it's at. Yeah. So let's jump on in and have a good time, I think. Maybe this will be fucking weird, who knows, but I think I understand this reference. But I actually have no clue because I've read this before, I think. But then, like, so many of these articles branch out into something new. So, like, you'll read the initial one and be real confused. Because, like, years later, you'll just see the sequel article, but the original's still up. And it's just like, huh? Why didn't you just edit it? No, there has to be a sequel. There's gotta be a squeakquel. This. Alright, fuck you. Unguardians your gate. I think this is like, in one of these, there's like a... There's an early article I think I read. I don't know. Maybe not on stream, but I've definitely read it before. Maybe it was like back in the 4chan days when I was a teenager. It's just like,
Yeah, we found Christian God. He's just camping out downstairs in like one of the Foundation basements. And he's guarding us from like actual like fucking crazy shit behind the gate. We don't know if it's hell or it's like heaven or like just something, you know?
it's just like this wicked, like, fucking 6-armed beast taller than, like, skyscrapers. They send tanks and shit in and it just goes, pwned.
I fucking swatted your fly over and over again.
But I think the sequel is like, yeah, we killed it. We killed it. Where's William and Leland? The saga of William will continue. Leland, you know what? I'm still convinced that William is, like, you know, either fake or real. But Leland, he's a good actor. He's a good actor for his age, I think. William, I don't know, man. William would legitimately spend 62,000 hours in Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, just to get the tactical nuke, I think. So, William's up in the air.
I think we need to delve back into the mystery of William.
But until then, I removed the main crop for a minute because we always look at like the fucking main page for a second. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to a random page. What the fuck is that? Who is that? Who the fuck is that? Yo, who's that? There it is. I thought I removed the original. Who the fuck is that? The mystery deepens. The mystery deepens. Okay. 1163. There's a picture. Object class Euclid. This looks like a fucking Half-Life 2 source engine NPC. The caption for the image is a photograph of SCP-1163 wearing... currently inhabiting the body of D-817. Sorry, there was no wearing there.
He's a skinwalker.
Yeah, there he is. Oh my god, he is doing the most, like, weird smile. But, yeah, it looks like just a man, taking, like, a standard portrait photograph. You know, like, you go to a studio and they're like, hey, you have nice clothes on here? We'll take your $30. Yo, who's that? Yeah, there he is. There he is. It's Tyler 1, but he, like, you know, all of the rage instead went to, like, making his nose and mouth bigger. It just looks like a standard photograph of a man. I'm assuming. I don't know. He's got, like, just a dark brown or black dress shirt on. Kind of a wide neck for, like, how kind of thin his stature seems. But he's either balding or, like, he shaved it down. He does very much look kind of like Tyler 1. He's got green eyes, and he looks kind of, his eyes are, like, sunken and turned upward a little bit. He looks tired. His eyebrows, he looks like he's doing something like, you know, wrenching his brow, but there's no wrinkles on his forehead. In fact, a lot of his face is smooth. His nose is massive. It's very bulbous. He looks like he has enlarged nostrils. His mouth is very stretched looking. In fact, if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't say this is photoshopped. Yeah, it looks like we took the enlarge tool to the nose and like the stretch tool to the mouth, and then we just blurred or like heel tooled anything else. The background is just like a soft gray blue. Can we get a side to side comparison? To what? To what are we fucking comparing here? There he is. It just looks like a standard man. In fact, like, his shirt, it looks so normal that I don't even think it has buttons on it, so that could be anomalous. If you told me this was a normal person, I'd still say he looks really weird. So I'm not trying to make fun of him, just, you know, my surmisement, I guess. Item number 1163, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Excuse me. Excuse me. What the fuck? Whatever. Whatever. 1163 is to be contained in a 3.5 by 3.5 meter cell containing a small bed and a nailed-down lamp. Food and water will be supplied periodically through a secured dumbwaiter, but sugary foods are only to be given as rewards for cooperation. Strike-through. 1163 is only to be directly visited under authorized research or psychological evaluation on strike-through. See Addendum 1163B. When meeting Foundation staff, both the staff member and 1163 must be contained before meeting to prevent a containment breach caused by 1163's anomalous properties. All other verbal interaction with 1163 is to be performed through the intercom system. Description: 1163 is an entity identifiable most easily by its abnormal facial structure, characterized by its unusually green eyes, large nose, and wide mouth. It's fucking Photoshop, dude. It's Photoshopped. I can tell by the pixels. When a human is in sight of 1163, 1163 is capable of immediately causing the other party's face to restructure into that of 1163, while 1163 will restructure its face into that of the other party. While the facial structure will be identical, skin tone will not be changed, and the face will be proportional to the size of the head. After the faces are switched, a process that takes between 3 and 12 seconds, depending on structural differences. The body has the face of 1163. The body that has the face of 1163 will be controlled by 1163, while the body with the face of the other party will be fully controllable by the other party, as if it was their own body. 1163 is fully capable of switching back and forth, and there seems to be no limit to the amount of time 1163 can spend with a body, or how rapidly 1163 can switch between bodies. Though the facial structure shifts, the tissue is the same, and any blemishes, marks, scars, facial hair, or wrinkles will be conserved. A person missing a part of their face will not have the part recovered by the introduction of 1163. This one's just weird, like fucking face transmutation technology guy. 1163 appears to have a mental capacity similar to a child around 6 years old. It is cooperative and, in particular, is easily coerced with sweet foods. 1163 will readily communicate verbally, but does not seem to suffer from boredom or loneliness when not spoken to. Though the body used seems to have some effect on the voice, 1163 generally has a high-pitched voice and a noticeable stutter. 1163 currently inhabits the body of a Caucasian male D-class. The body that the D-817 was switched into was immediately terminated to avoid complications. Huh? Has a high-pitched voice and a noticeable stutter. Dude, do you want to freaking switch faces with me? You want to switch bodies? Huh? Okay. When I grow up, I want to switch bodies with everyone and change faces. That's like the whole vibe I get. Recovery information. 1163 was discovered in the small town of Blank, Pennsylvania, where several friends and relatives had previously reported the residents having drastically changed appearances. Police were skeptical and refused to begin a formal investigation themselves before the Foundation became involved. When investigated by Foundation agents, it was found that during 1163's attempts to avoid notice, it had exchanged the faces of a large portion of the town. 1163 was then found by Foundation agents hiding inside an abandoned house under severe distress. Through the use of an agent's bag of quadruple blank brand candy, 1163 was easily convinced to enter the custody of the Foundation. Let's fucking go, dude. Millions of dollars? No, give me that Twix bar. Addendum 1163A. It has been found that excessive contact with 1163's anomalous properties can cause detrimental physical effects. Continuous changing of facial structure, especially between two states with differently sized eyes, can cause accelerated vision loss. A human who has been in control of a body of a different sex may experience issues with bladder control. Okay. Addendum 1163B. 1163 attempted to breach containment during an interview with Agent Blank, where 1163 used its anomalous property to switch bodies with Agent Blank and attempted to impersonate her. Though this goes beyond the initial estimate of 1163's understanding of its own properties, it is still not complete, as it is believed itself to fully resemble Agent Blank. After incapacitated and returned to its cell, 1163 was convinced to return Agent Blank to her original body. Individual meetings with 1163 are no longer authorized. So it's a question of, like, is it higher aware of what it's doing? Or was it, like, frustrated and it took an agent's body? And that's all. That's kind of like the prime... I don't even think that's a primary question at that point, because if it's capable of doing that, then it's, like, the question of what do we do next and, like, what is it capable of? Not, like, will it do it? How the fuck do we prevent and, like, what do we detect? 1163 was introduced to Dr. Blank 2 weeks after recovery in order to gain more information on 1163's knowledge of its own abilities. In order to gain more information on 1163's knowledge of its own abilities, Dr. Blank was supplied with 3 Blank brand chocolate bars. Dr. Blank was previously trained to work with children. Begin log. Dr. Blank. Hello, 1163. My name is Dr. Blank. How are you doing? 1163. Okay. From here on out, Doctor will just refer to Dr. Blank, vice versa. Doctor, I'm going to have to ask you a few questions. Is that all right? 1163. Agent Blank said I could have some candy. Doctor, you can have some if you cooperate. 1163 refuses to speak or make eye contact after hearing this until Dr. Blank gives 1163 one of the chocolate bars, which is immediately placed by 1163 into a pocket. Doctor, are you ready to answer questions now? 1163 nods. Doctor, could you tell me what your name is? 1163. No. Doctor, alright, do you mind if I call you 1163? 1163, that's okay. Doctor, do you know how old you are? 1163, no, I'm sorry. Doctor, that's fine. What's the earliest event you can remember? 1163, I remember going into a town. Doctor, do you mean blank? 1163, I don't know. Doctor, do you remember ever leaving a town? 1163, I don't remember. 1163 becomes fairly upset and refuses to respond to Dr. Blank. Instead, 1163 silently eats the candy bar. By the time 1163 is finished, Dr. Blank is able to resume the interview. Doctor. So, 1163, when you were in blank, you caused a lot of people a lot of trouble. 1163 does not respond to this. Doctor, do you feel bad about this at all? 1163, feel bad about what? Doctor, when you moved through the different people, you moved them into different bodies also, and this made them unhappy. 1163, why? Doctor, they felt uncomfortable when they had to change what the rest of their bodies look and feel like. 1163, I don't understand. What rest of bodies changed? Doctor, when you moved through the people in blank, you made them move into bodies that they weren't born into. 1163, born into? I don't understand. 1163 became extremely distressed and refused to respond further to Dr. Blank, even when given the remaining 2 candy bars. End log. Closing statement, Dr. Blank was largely unsuccessful at getting more information on 1163's awareness of anomalous properties. But results of this interview show that the subject is largely ignorant. Later testing revealed that 1163 suffers from apperceptive Later testing revealed that 1163 suffers from apperceptive prosopagnosia. Unable to recognize faces, apperceptive? At all? Apperceptive? Apperceptive. It could be either. Apperceptive. Able to relate new precepts to past. Unable to associate faces at all whatsoever memorologically. Like, without... With a memory function, you can't remember it all anyway. Even if you saw them and, like, could fucking tell them. Okay. Interview 1163-02. Stop with the silly music. 1163 was introduced to Agent Blank 2 weeks after the interview with Dr. Blank. In an attempt to retrieve more information on 1163's awareness of the subject's own anomalous properties. Agent Blank has previous experience in investigating or interrogating of children or individuals. Agent Blank has previous experience in investigating or interrogating of children or individuals with cognitive deficits. Agent Blank was also granted 3 Blank brand chocolate bars. Agent Blank, 1163. 1163, yes? Agent, do you have any idea why you're being kept here? 1163, is it because of something I did? Agent, that is part of it. Do you have any idea of how... Do you have... Agent, that is part of it. Do you have any idea of how you are different than the other people you met in Blank? 1163 becomes very distressed at this point and stutters more frequently, but does not refuse to respond as with Dr. Blank. 1163. They didn't like me there. They kept moving all around me. It was bad. Agent, do you have any idea why they acted like that around you? 1163. No, I tried acting normal, but they kept noticing me and acting like I was scary. Agent, do you understand why they acted that way, even when you acted normal? 1163. No. Note, the interview was performed before it was shown that 1163 suffers from prosopagnosia. It is likely that the subject did not realize how it could be identified by the abnormal face. Agent, do you have any other ideas about how you are different from those other people? 1163 thinks for a full minute before responding. 1163, I think I'm faster. When the people used to yell at me, I could just move away in a second. Agent, and you use this to get away when people are yelling. 1163, yes. Agent, is there any reason why you have not tried... Is there any reason why you have not yet tried to breach containment here? Note, Agent Blank was severely reprimanded for suggesting a containment breach to a Euclid SCP. 1163, breaching what? Agent Blank, is there any reason you have stayed here without trying to run away? 1163, you act nice sometimes when you're here and people give me candy. I don't want to go back to where people yell when they see me. Note, 1163 had not previously been exposed to Agent Blank. End log. They're referring to the previous person, so the collective organization is the same person to them. Now the question there is whether the face blindness drives it, or if it's just an honorific, a sign of respect. Because this appears to be, like, they describe it as mental faculties of a child. It probably is a kid with, like, a superpower, right? So then the idea at the end of the day is the kid's just trying to be respectful and say, like, the last doctor that I met, you know, he had doctor's clothes on. I know he's different. You may be a soldier or an agent or whatever. I still can't tell your faces apart. Maybe I can, like, hear. But, like, you know, me going back to when I was 6, it's the same thing. Like, I want to be respectful of all adults. Agent gave me candy. Doctor gave me candy. I.e., the whole organization is going to give me candy. So he's saying everybody so far has been nice. And they've given me candy. He, I say they, whatever. Closing statement. 1163, while aware that some of the anomalous properties exist, is not fully aware of their capabilities, strike-through, and is not willing to use them in order to breach containment, unstrike-through. See Addendum 1163-B. Euclid humanoid mind-affecting transfiguration. Alright, let's go back. Let's go back, continue. Continue? To 11? The description for the image says the white hallway of 211, located adjacent to what appears to have possibly been a kitchen. Hold on, is this like a fucking extra dimensional one? House of Pages.jpg is the name of the image. Okay. The image is a very golden hue. All over the image is just a lot of gold, and like I guess the floor is brown, the right wall is kind of greenish. But overall, the overarching color is gold. Papers line the walls everywhere here. The only thing you can really discern is the floor. Directly in front of the camera is a kind of rough but well taken care of hardwood floor. And then a little further out, once you meet the furthest wall directly in front of the camera, there's like a kitchen floor. It's black and white tile, just checkerboard. Everything else is pretty much just illuminated paper. You can tell that each page has writing on it, but even looking all the way up at the ceiling, there's a glowing spot where presumably a light bulb is, or like an overhang window could be, where the like sunlight's coming through. In the furthest room, all the way in the back, all you can really see is like, again, a light or like a window, and then just, you know, light illuminating everything. There's paper on the floor, really just lining the wall. And again, on the far right wall, you can see just barely a little bit of trim on the floor. It's like a white decorative trim against the wall, and then maybe like a green wall, but a lot of stuff is taken. A lot of the whole wall is taken up by a sheaf of paper. Just papers littered everywhere and like stuck to the wall in almost like a bird feather coat. In the middle of the hallway, it's a hallway. It seems to branch off to the right, past this object, and then to the left, and then forward into the kitchen. There's a big glow coming from the kitchen. The floor is kind of dark, but on the right, before you approach the kitchen, there appears to be like maybe a small end table or something. I don't know, some object is covered with more paper. All right, House of Pages. Odd, but okay. The House of Pages. Huh? It's always this way. What am I doing? Wait, what? No, it is this. Okay. That's always fun. That's always fun. Item number 211, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Because of the suburban location of 211, the surrounding neighborhood has been vacated through intentional introduction of pollutive industry and redistricting to promote, quote, NIMBY, unquote, NIMBY sentiment. In addition, the property surrounding 211 is currently under Foundation management, and an armed guard has been stationed in the buildings. Unauthorized personnel entering the area are to be terminated on site. A series of explosive charges has been set within 211. It is to be examined every double blank days for degradation. Should 211 become overtly hostile or neutralization is otherwise requested, it is to be terminated by detonating these charges simultaneously. To avoid inadvertent activation of 211's defense mechanisms, extraction of 211-1 should take place at a rate of fewer than blank, single blank, that is. Extraction of 211-1 should take place at a rate of fewer than single blank pages per hour. Description: 211 is a two-story building located in an abandoned district of blank, Iowa, or blank, IA. Records from Blank's archives heavily suggest that the building was originally a middle-class dwelling belonging to G. Blank S. Blank, since deceased of natural cause. Since then, all furnishings have disappeared, save standard light fixtures and a radiator pictured above. Note that several of these light switches have not been discovered, rendering them useless. Additionally, the building's topography has been nearly completely covered with an estimated this is a triple thousand digit number. So triple blank, comma, triple blank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 digits. Additionally, the building's topography has been nearly completely covered with an estimated triple-digit thousand blank sheets of paper, hereafter collectively designated as 211-1. Given these facts, 211 itself is in remarkably poor condition. Severe mold and grind contamination are threatening to collapse a large section of the second floor. And the attempted May 4th demolition, see document 211-01, has left a large hole in the south wall of the building. Recovered sheets of 211-1 may be of various aspect and origins. Blank, depicting various images, ripped pages from books, most often excited. Recovered sheets of 211-1 may be of various aspect and origins. Blank, depicting various images, ripped pages from books, most often encyclopedias or novels, printouts from the internet, etc. The paper may be of any color. In fact, the above picture is of the only hallway in which all sheets are printed on white paper. Entire stacks of paper have been discovered in the building's basement, whose individual sheets bear little or no relation to each other. Their only real identifying characteristic is that individual sheets' edges are unusually sharp, and that should a portion of 211-1 be removed, more sheets appear from unknown origin as replacement. Research is pending, but so far individually 211-1's constituent parts seem to have little purpose beyond redacted. See Addendum 211-01 and Defense. Document 211-01. SCP status for 211 was established after the building was condemned and scheduled for demolition on 4 May 2 triple blank. So, presumably the year 2000 onward. 4 May 2 blank blank blank. When the building attacked the team, hereafter labeled Incident 0. I'm just going to reread that whole thing. SCP status for 211 was established after the building was condemned and scheduled for demolition on 4 May 2 triple blank. When the building attacked the team, hereafter labeled Incident 0. The following is an interview of E blank R blank, one of 4 survivors, conducted by Dr. Spinoza. Begin log. Dr. Spinoza, please state your name and occupation. Interviewee E blank R blank, employed at blank construction. Well, former employee. Can't exactly do my job with one crippled leg, now can I? Dr. Spinoza, my sympathies. Please discuss the events involving the attempted destruction of data expunged. R blank. Well, we blank construction, that is. We're commissioned to destroy that thing. So we set about finding the best way to do it. We pretty much ruled out undermining for some reason, something to do with data expunged. Main thing is management decides to just use a couple of bulldozers to level the thing. Dr. Spinoza, was there any action on the part of the building before you attempted demolition? R blank. Not really. We went in there after all, making tests and all that. Found the mold, joked about all that paper all over that place. Only thing that really happened before we started was, when we were in the basement and someone else, I forget who, started ripping pages from the wall just to check how bad the mold was. Big stack of the stuff suddenly drops from the ceiling, out of nowhere, on top of the guy, and he gets a nice bunch of paper cuts. Thing got us, though. His gear was all cut up as hell. I mean, clothing, hat, glasses, what have you. All nicked up. Had a big damn gouge in his glasses. Damn good thing he was wearing those glasses, I tell you. Dr. Spinoza, and then? R. Well, we didn't like being in a big house of knives, so we got him out of there. Other than that, besides, and nothing else happened. Dr. Spinoza, and on May 4. R. Well, we had everything set up and started driving a pair of bulldozers toward the house, when all of a sudden all that paper on that one wall, outside, right? Well, it all just falls off by itself. Now, I should tell you that day there wasn't a breeze in the air at all, so we thought that, well, the building's destroying itself and stuff, and we decided to help it along, and all of a sudden there's a big rumble, one you can hear over the bulldozers. And all that paper flies in the air by itself and tears up everything in sight. End of interview redacted. End log. The House of Paper is attacking. Document 211-02. Subsequent to Incident 0, testing was taken to determine the responsiveness of 211. D-Class personnel were issued a video camera in order to interact with 211 in various ways. Video log 1. Subject, D-199-05, ordered to approach and explore 211. Result, no response. D-199-05 interacted with 211-1 without threat. Building map of first floor made with camera footage. Video log 2. Subject, D-199-05, ordered to approach and extract a sheet of 211-1. Result, no response. Page appears to be redacted. Video log 3. Subject, D-199-05, ordered to approach and extract a pile of 211-1 near 211's entrance. Result, before extracting the target, D-199-05 hesitates and examines a large poster on the wall near it. When questioned, D-199-05 remarks that it's a painting that he made while incarcerated at Redacted, and proceeds to pick it up without incident. When D-199-05 picks up the target, a pile of 211-1 falls over, landing on him. D-199-05 emerges, suffering lacerations to arms, legs, and face, but manages to extract the collection from 211. Video log 4. Subject, D-199-05, ordered to approach 211 and explore second floor. Result, D-199-05 enters building via Incident 0 hole without incident. Upon entering contaminated area, D-199-05 steps on a weakened part of the floor, which collapses. D-199-05 exits building with a broken leg. Redacted. Well, at least we know we can destroy it if we need to. Dr. Spinoza. Video log 5. Subject, D-21938 issued a pack of matches and ordered to light a sheet of 211-1 within 211 on fire. Result, data expunged. Remains removed from door, but main entrance to 211 is now blocked, leaving the Incident 0 hole as the only entrance. Let's not try that one again, alright? I mean, ugh. Dr. Spinoza. What the hell happened? You start burning stuff at the entrance and it just like surrounds everything and like just makes a burning mold of fire? Addendum 211-01. Since collection of 211-1 has begun. Since collection of 211-1 has begun, several specific books have become identified as their origin. Examples of these are as follows. Bullet, a 19 double-blank copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, found in blank public library. Bullet, a Java data structures book printed in 19 double-blank, discovered in a used bookstore near Site 17. Bullet, redacted, currently stored in the United States Library of Congress. Bullet, 3 printouts of Japanese broadcast decoded during the Magic Cryptanalysis project in World War II. Bullet, the drawing in document 211-02. Bullet, etc. No documents re the Foundation have been discovered as of yet. However, security has been increased as a mild informational security threat. Addendum 211-02. Recent unexplained phenomena regarding 211 have provoked further study. On 28 March, quadruple blank, 3 individual sheets of 211-1 were found in 211's entrance. Examination of these sheets proved to be Foundation protocol memoranda addressed to Dr. Spinoza, the interviewer of the previously mentioned E blank R blank. Upon questioning Spinoza, who had been at Site-17 re another project, noted that the notices had disappeared soon after he received them, adding that data expunged. Since this date, there have been single blank other data security breaches involving 211-1, several of which involve 211 as subject material. Upgrade to Euclid status pending. Autonomous, document safe, self-replicating structure. This kind of seems like generational memory library. And if it's like if it's a book, then fair enough, or like, you know, whatever. But it seems like just paper. So like the art shows up. It's I don't like the like fucking Mein Kampf bullshit. That was annoying as hell. But you know, everybody writes their own fucking article, I guess. The other parts are interesting. A Java data structures book. So it kind of like it makes you wonder, like, okay, I don't know about like cryptanalysis, but it could be like important documents to generational memory. I don't know. This one kind of like upsets me, but it's good too. It's weird. The library of like it cuts you into pieces. Only take one piece at a time. Dude, there's that painting I made in like fucking jail college. 2112, item number 2112, object class safe. Special containment procedures. Use of 2112 must be cleared by the current containment site's chief medical officer. Any subjects undergoing operation by 212 must submit to a full physical and psychological testing, both before and after exposure. Resistance to testing will result in termination of subject. All personnel are to keep at least 1.5 meters, parentheses 5 feet, from 212 when not in operation. Did I say 212 earlier? 212, whatever. Armed personnel are authorized to use whatever force deemed necessary to prevent unauthorized exposure. Should any personnel accidentally become exposed to 212, full quarantine, testing, and judicial review will be initiated as soon as the subject is released by 212. Description: 212 is a large medical device with 3 large robotic arms. The arms have an extremely diverse array of attachments, but no storage area or power source has yet been found. Attachments slide into and out of the arms as needed, with over 500 different attachments documented. 212 is made of plastic, steel, and other common materials. In-depth analysis is pending, as any attempt by mechanical means causes violent action from 212, and attempts by any biological means normally results with subject's improvement. When exposed to living tissue, the arms of 212 will rapidly move to grab and restrain it. 212 will then begin to improve said tissue. This process is extremely fast, but 212 does not inject any anesthetic or replace any blood lost. The process has been described as excruciatingly painful, and can result in the death of the subject at a rate of 47%. Wounds made by 212 are closed with standard surgical sutures and a chemical sealant that is not yet fully understood. Improvements that have been observed include lining of joints with graphite, replacement of biological organs with artificial ones, addition of metal plates to bones, addition of new or duplicate organs, and replacement of teeth with small serrated steel bands, among many others. 212 has been shown to be able to totally reconfigure an organism. The improvements appear to be random, and can sometimes be detrimental or fatal, as illustrated by one subject's complete loss of bone marrow and its replacement by a gel that is still under study. Subjects wishing to undergo exposure from 212 are to be advised that the process is extremely invasive, and that no predictions on improvements can be made. So this links to SCP-784 ARC. This seems familiar. Have I seen this? It references 212. That's interesting. I don't know. Maybe. Prometheus. Huh. No. See also 212 upgrade log. What the hell? What's all this about? Oh my god. Okay. I probably shouldn't read 784 ARC. I think haven't I seen this before? 784 incident? Yeah, there's like a big thing with 784, right? I don't know about that one. I'll probably get back to that later once I approach 784 in general. Let's check out the upgrade log, though. Record of exposure to 212. Attention, any and all exposure to 212 is to be recorded and logged. Unreported exposure to 212 will be met with termination. All subjects willingly exposed to 212 must have O5 command approvals, as well as that of site medical staff. Subject, Agent Blank, 28 years old, 64 kilograms, 183 centimeters tall. African American descent. Submitted request on double blank, quadruple blank. Approval granted and exposed on double blank, quadruple blank. Description of upgrades. Lower jaw bone replaced by super dense ceramic jaw. Teeth replaced with blades made of the same material. Spine removed and replaced with synthetic polymer. Replacement spine grafted to base of skull. Rib cage and pelvis coated with thin layer of ceramic. Lungs, eyes, and liver removed and replaced after cleaning. Subject status, active duty. Notes. 212 will appear to clean some organs or tissues. It will run several attachments over the tissue, each of which will spray, scan, cut, or otherwise interact with the tissue before replacing it. When tested, these cleaned tissues appear totally free of genetic defects and appear younger than the surrounding tissues. Subject, Dr. Blank, 42 years old, 62 kilograms, 170 centimeters, Caucasian, British descent. Submitted request on double blank, quadruple blank. Approval granted and exposed on double blank, quadruple blank. Teeth replaced with, description of upgrades. Teeth replaced with super dense ceramic. Feet amputated at the ankle, replaced by a thin plastic lattice work, with several pads on the bottom. These pads are capable of sticking to any solid surface, and can carry up to 225 kilograms. Bone marrow removed and replaced with a blue gel. Heart, eyes, liver, and kidneys removed and cleaned. Several metal devices inserted into the brain for unknown purpose. Subject status. Subject died during the removal of bone marrow. Foot pads removed and are currently under study. It's like a toss-up. Sometimes it won't always work, huh? Subject. Agent AA. Personal data redacted. Suffered severe injuries on double blank, quadruple blank, resulting in traumatic amputation of all 4 limbs and removal of spleen, left kidney, right lung, and left eye. Cranial trauma caused by shard of circuitry piercing skull and entering left frontal lobe of brain. Submitted request on double blank, quadruple blank. Approval granted and exposed on double blank, quadruple blank. So it almost seems like it's a toss-up. Like maybe you gotta be mentally prepared for it. Otherwise the thing just like tries to help and it ends up accidentally killing. Description of upgrades. Contrary to expectations, 212 did not remove the shard of metal from subject's brain, instead spending approximately 7 minutes analyzing the circuitry with a variety of lenses, probes, and sensors before apparently determining that the foreign body could be left in place. 212 then proceeded to integrate said circuitry into his subject's frontal lobe more fully, utilizing tracery made of room temperature superconductors. 212 ended by administering an unknown chemical that immediately placed the subject in a coma, then shut itself down. No attempts were made to replace severed limbs or repair damage to bodily organs, aside from normal cleaning. Subject status. As of double blank, quadruple blank, subject remains in a chemically induced coma in stable condition. Foreign circuitry in brain appears to be spreading at a geometric rate. Estimate complete replacement of biological brain tissue in data expunged. So sometimes it needs like approval from the Foundation to continue a project. Or maybe this was just a great failure. And it's like a masterwork of doing this shit, but it just fails epically sometimes too. I just tell you, the first image in my mind, I picture it like just shoving a spike into the brain of like its subject. It goes, yeah, that'll work. Let's see if they think that's okay. Maybe they'll give it back to me after I like figure out how to do this. Didn't figure out how to do it the second time. No, if it's increasing geometrically, but before the guy can even like fucking die of like lack of fluids or like brain death. He's gonna be a fucking robot. I think all of the limbs were removed for some reason. Subject, Agent Blank, 34 years old, 112 kilograms, 176 centimeters, Caucasian, German descent. Submitted request on double blank, quadruple blank. Approval granted and exposed on double blank, quadruple blank. Description of upgrades. Removal of stomach, intestines, large and small, liver and kidneys. Organs replaced with 2 sacs of synthetic tissues attached to the esophagus. Esophagus lined with the same tissue. Sacs produce an acid capable of breaking down steel and transfer all nutrition directly to the bloodstream. This process produces no waste, and any indigestible matter is expelled up the esophagus and out the mouth. Eyes replaced with optic sensor pads capable of seeing visible infrared and ultraviolet light spectrum. Hands removed at the wrist and each replaced with 8 metallic tentacles, each measuring 3.8 centimeters long. This is fucking crazy. Subject status, medical leave until double blank, quadruple blank, to allow adjustment to new internal structures. It seems like some Foundation agents do much better, because they're just gonna go back into duty. Maybe they're like mentally trained for it. Or maybe this thing's just like, okay, this guy's a dickhead, I'm gonna perform like the worst botched surgery on him, and hope it turns out. Meanwhile, this guy is actually gonna do some work out in the field. Like, I'm gonna give him the sick, badass octopus tentacles. And like, let him fucking melt steel with his body. Fuck it, man. This one links forward to another one we're about to read tonight. Okay. Subject, D blank, 23 years old, 62 kilograms, 178 centimeters, Caucasian American descent. Previously exposed to 217 and decontaminated once the virus had run its course. Full mechanical conversion achieved. Approval for testing on single blank, quadruple blank. Description of upgrades. Data expunge. Subject status. Subject escaped containment, overpowering 2 armed personnel and effortlessly bypassing several security measures. Subject recaptured after 2 hours, having caused single blank casualties and double blank injuries, as well as deactivating data expunged. Was recaptured. Subject requested SCP classification, presumably in an attempt to avoid termination. Request was denied and subject was dismantled. Components were incinerated. Following examination and documentation, see file redacted. We got like a fucking super robot out of like a person. We infected them with nanites, they came out perfected, and then we turned them into a machine on top of that. And then they like fucking ninja flipped out of there. They're like, please dude, please reclassify me. I'm not an agent anymore. We're like, no. You're gonna give us your manual right now, or we're gonna break you apart. He's like, no. Okay, we're gonna break you apart. We got like a team of scientists, 16 scientists in that room. We dismantled him in like the span of less than an hour because of like time advancement technology or whatever. We burned him up within 30 minutes. He was gone within the hour. Subject, Agent Blank, 25 years old, 93 kilograms, 188 centimeters, African American descent. Subject submitted request on double blank, quadruple blank. Approval granted and exposed on double blank, quadruple blank. Description of upgrades. Skin replaced with nanomaterial mesh of thick tubes coated in microscopic barbs. Tips of fingers and toes replaced with carbon claws about 8 centimeters long. Limb bones restructured for a quadrupedal stance. Heart and lungs replaced by single organ, with a second similar organ as backup. Digestive system cleaned and shortened significantly. Left eye replaced with ultrasound sensor. Subject status, stable but behaving erratically. Contained pending psychological analysis. He probably wanted his eyes, or he's like a fucking machine of killing. Subject, Dr. Blank, 26 years old, 142 kilograms, 200 centimeters. Multiracial descent. Subject was rendered fully blind on double blank, quadruple blank, due to accidental exposure to SCP quadruple blank. Submitted request on double blank, quadruple blank. Approval granted and exposed on double blank, quadruple blank. Description of upgrades. Removal of both eyes. Orbits widened to meet and form a single oval cavity. He's Sonic. Cavity is lined with metallic structures resembling large cilia. Amputation of both hands, stumps fused together, and several small limbs resembling crab pincers grafted to the forearms in no apparent pattern. Teeth removed for cleaning. Teeth with fillings discarded, remainder replaced. Subject status, deceased. Subject had begun undergoing medical imaging when he began to suffer extreme pain, describing the sensation as "it tastes all wrong." The cilia-like structures then reshaped into sharp points and extended rapidly in length, many piercing the subject's brain. The gripper limbs continued independent movement for several hours until subject was incinerated. So, some form of the upgrade process just didn't work right here, I think. He was too smart, and I think the thing that upgraded him was probably too dumb for the upgrade that he wanted, and so he was given, like, fucking bullshit. It tastes all wrong is his brain misfiring neurons. God, I've been recording you reacting to William and Leland for a video for an hour. I gotta see this. That's fucking great. I'm gonna post that on the main channel if you show me that, because that's fucking hilarious. That's hilarious. Subject, D5354, 22 years old, multiracial descent. Subject was scheduled for disciplinary termination and had consumed a last meal consisting of seafood. Subject was already deceased when exposed to 212. Description of upgrades. After spending 4 minutes analyzing and probing subject, 212 dissected subject, carefully removing the stomach and intestinal tract. Stomach was then opened and a bioluminescent lobster-like organism was constructed from its contents. He's already dead. I'm gonna make a fucking living, glowing lobster out of it. I'll make it unlisting. My editing is bad. That's just fucking gold. I already had a time, but that's fucking great. Thank you. I'm gonna have a time looking at that. Subject status. After removing and altering subject's stomach contents as described above, rest of subject's remains were discarded. He wasn't allowed to live, so the poor creature that is, like, assembling people into, like, fucking insane shit. And, like, cyber beings. He goes, yeah, dude, I think I'm gonna resurrect the fucking lobster in his stomach and, like, make it a new thing. He made a new lobster. Okay. Subject, Mummy of Intef II, Pharaoh of the 11th Dynasty of Egypt, parentheses, circa 2063 BCE. The mummy had been collected during a research expedition by the Foundation's predecessor entity in the early 19th century. Description of upgrades. 212 spent 25 minutes analyzing subject, then ceased activity without having altered subject. Following this, Dr. Morrison directed that the 4 canopic jars that were collected from Intef II's tomb also be placed in the containment chamber. Yeah. The canopic jar has, like, fucking preserved organs in it. Of course. It might be stinky. You might, like, if you eat it, you drink it, you're gonna die. Okay. Dr. Morrison directed that the 4 canopic jars that were collected from Intef II's tomb also be placed in the containment chamber. 212 then reactivated and used a scalpel and a heating tool to make minor alterations to 4 amulets in the mummy's wrappings before again ceasing activity. Subject status, apparently unchanged, except that the aggregate mass of the subject appears to have decreased slightly. Huh? You're like, you didn't know what to do, so you just did something, huh? I'll make it lighter, I guess. Subject, D5442, 27 years old, Japanese-American descent. I can't wait for that video, I'm excited. Description of upgrades. 212 removes the subject's thumbs and nose. It scans for 3 minutes before replacing the nose with a silicone version and implanting a thin plastic tube within the nasal cavity coated in an unknown blue mucus. Subject status. Subject struggled to breathe and described a pleasant smell. The subject expired 1 hour later from asphyxiation. That's fucking sad. I mean, that's what happens if you add a new nose, which is blue tack. Subject, a white laboratory rat. Parentheses, Rattus norvegicus. For a description of upgrades, the tail was removed, and 212 began to alter the skeletal structure to resemble that of a bipedal organism. All organs were then removed except the lungs and heart. The additional space was filled with a white paste which hardened. Subject status, remains were incinerated after analysis. It was like an art project. Couldn't fully upgrade it. The fact that the lab rat is like one of the very last things we test. It's just utterly indescribable. Just sickening. Subject, the corpse of MTF New 7 Officer Harold Goldman, Caucasian American descent, mauled by an instance of SCP triple blank, which had left a large opening in the chest and abdomen. Several organs were devoured by the SCP triple blank instance. Description of upgrades. 212 scanned the subject for 10 minutes before sewing the remaining pieces of intestines back together and repairing sections with a patch of synthetic tissues. 212 then ceases activity after probing the areas where organs should be. Subject status, incinerated. So certain things can be upgraded, but it kind of tosses it up. I don't know. This guy he is like a medical robot that kind of doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. It's like meant to be there with some other like operator or like a higher robot that can do most of the other shit for it. Collaboration, experiment, supplement. Alright, let's move on to 213. Medical robotic safe transfiguration. This one has an image. Okay. The description for the image, 213 manifesting its anomalous property during initial containment. The image name is 213.jpg. Analysis of the image seems to yield a photograph of what looks like just sort of, I can never remember this word. It's, you know, the soft brown, black and white images. It's a very, like, sepia tone, or whatever the, like, black and white is, but with, like, brown overtone. The image appears to be a light source, somewhat blurry. You can see, is this candela? You can see, like, what your iris and eyelashes do whenever you're looking at a light source. The effect of that is going diagonally, bottom left to top right. It is starbursting in a T shape, though, from, like, somewhere in the top, oddly enough. Really, this image looks like a campfire that is exploding with fire, and there's a tent surrounding it. We're taking the image, the campfire is on grass. The image is taken, like, across the road. And you can see in the distance, like, maybe somebody's house, like, maybe a light on in the window. Unable to really tell what else is going on here, but it looks like a bonfire is, like, sort of glowing up, or maybe just, like, a large spotlight. No idea what else to glean from this, but it definitely looks like a tent is there. So, overall, the entire image is just glowing from the center with definitely a hard glow to a soft white glow over the large image. The largeness of the image, I can't fucking talk. So, a lot of the hard glow is just directly in the center, like, I don't know, like 12.5%. 82.5% of the image is like a soft white glow, and then it fades off. Alright. Artist terminology. That's more like Photoshop shit, if anything. Item number 213, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 213 is contained in a high-security humanoid containment cell within Site-77. This links to Secure Facility Dossier Site-77. It's kind of what it looks like. Oh my god. Okay, everything interlinked with this one. Special Containment Procedures. 213 is contained in a high-security humanoid containment cell within Site-77. The chamber is to be surrounded by a 10-meter wide zone filled with gaseous materials corrosive to human skin. 213 should be informed as to the nature of its containment to prevent manifestation of its effect, which would result in additional containment breaches. A staffing of 2 guards armed with high-pressure hoses, oleoresin capsicum, and polymer web grenades should be stationed outside the containment unit at all times. Well, that's like a fucking arsenal of equipment just for this. Description: 213 is an adolescent humanoid male, 1.5 meters tall, weighing 95 kilograms. 213 is able to forcefully sever the bonds between atoms in any solid or semi-solid matter with physical contact. An intense flash of light is produced when doing so. 213 can use any part of its body to manifest this effect, and has used it to disintegrate projectiles as they impact its body. Manifestation of this effect has proven to be extremely painful, with extended use causing enough pain to render 213 unconscious. Holy fuck. 213 was recovered from Palo Alto, California, where reports of a teenage boy being arrested for homicide after vaporizing his girlfriend during coitus reached agents embedded in the local police department. Further investigation revealed 213's anomalous properties. However, during initial containment, 213 vaporized the agents attempting to apprehend it. During the ensuing firefight with MTF quadruple blank hyphen double blank, 213 was able to disable 2 agents before being contained. 213's containment procedures were finalized on double blank 19 double blank and classified as Euclid. Addendum 213-07. 213 has made its 7th escape attempt. After asking for another interview with Dr. Blank, 213 waited for security personnel to allow her to enter the containment chamber. As the majority of the containment procedures were disengaged, 213 was able to apply its effect to the remaining security measures and breach containment. 213 killed Dr. Blank as well as 2 agents during the initial stage of its breach. That's sad. 213 had only seen a small portion of the facility and was easily apprehended after it encountered heavy resistance from security. Breaking through its cell weakened it enough to prevent further damage to other containment units. 213 was apprehended in the site break room, attempting to break through the floor. However, extensive use of its effect left it unable to do so. Addendum 213-08. 213 unintentionally breached containment on double blank 20 double blank. Due to the nature of this breach, no consequence has been issued. Video feed taken at 3:15 a.m. from 213's cell show its bed and a section of the floor being affected, which caused 213 to fall into the basement level. Containment procedures have been slated for revision. Researchers note, from study of this video, it is clear that 213's control of the effect is not as perfect as it is previously believed. It has become more cooperative with us in trying to establish a method to control and utilize it. Vague conjecture on the part of the review staff as to possibilities of what could occur should the effect trigger accidentally, including 213 self-vaporizing, are noted as being particularly useful in this regard. So, we've opened a dialogue. Addendum 213-09. Double blank 07 quadruple blank. During a routine physical examination of 213, lesions were discovered on its back, appearing as smooth nodules. Presently, there are 4 nodules placed at intervals on the subject's back in a perfect square. Distance between all 4 points is exactly 15 centimeters. Medical personnel have been assigned to 213's containment in order to observe and rapidly respond to changes in this condition. Follow-up examinations have been scheduled. Double blank 09 quadruple blank. A follow-up examination has led to the discovery of 2 more nodules, located in the center of its palms. 213 reports mild irritation but no pain or discomfort. They resist pressure applied with blunt or sharp instruments. During an attempt to excise a sample using a scalpel, the scalpel failed to cut and vaporized after a few seconds of applied pressure. 213 denies responsibility for this occurrence. 213 has become notably more apathetic and has expressed feelings of extreme pain from its back and stomach. Double blank 14 quadruple blank. 213 was moved to intensive care after being observed having a seizure in its containment cell. Examination of 213 shows an additional 10 nodules have appeared on its back. A perfect distance of 5 centimeters separates each one. 213 continues to report no pain from the lesions. 213 has been assigned additional medical observers who will remain outside its containment with the standard guard staff for the next week. So my theory is, like, overuse of this ability grows more nodules, more nodes that want to use the ability, and attempts to, like, excise the node, vaporizes the tool. I think this vaporizes everything ambiently near it, just like on a microscopic level. So his stomach is probably, like, just getting removed. He probably has a bunch in his stomach and they're all getting removed. They're like, all the shit in his stomach is just disappearing. Double blank 23, quadruple blank. All nodules on 213 have disappeared and been replaced with thin incisions slightly less than 1 millimeter in width. During inspection of these new changes, the medical examiner witnessed the incision on 213's left palm open, and an eye was observed watching her. 213 has been placed in the medical wing indefinitely, pending further changes to the subject's condition. He grew a fucking eye in his hand? Addendum 213-10. The source of 213's effect appears to be a parasitic infestation of unknown origin inhabiting its body. This life form has not attempted to communicate, but does observe any persons in 213's presence through the lesions present on 213's body. 213 has exhibited panic over this development and has requested several times the entity be removed from it. Any requests of this nature from 213 are to be denied, pending further research. Researcher note, the organism inhabiting 213 fails to show up on any medical scan we have at our disposal. The new hypothesis is that this effect actually serves to provide sustenance and self-defense, with repeated tests to determine the nature of the anomaly has led to increased growth. 213 has been placed in a chemically induced coma until further research can be conducted regarding the nature of this parasite. Containment procedures slated for major revision. Daydreamin' is what this links to. Huh? This links back to 213. Daydreamin'. Daydreams. That's all there is anymore. That's all I can have. I'm an all-powerful demigod locked in the chamber of a little boy. Do you know where the power goes? It flows out our fingers and out soggy clothes into broken men. They seek forgiveness, so here I go. Our mother was there, and the fridge flew out of the way. Mommy's pretty neck, gone in a flash, bursting blood onto strike-through, my unstrike-through, our poor hands, and dripping onto the floor. We're all broken now. The monsters, the jailers, they hold me now, and they won't let me go. They need me whole. They make me fight Grammy, but she knows we've already won. This doesn't make any sense. What am I talking about? None of that shit actually happened. I need to get a hold of myself before I start spouting some more goddamn nonsense. Deep breaths. How many fingers do I have? 10? 10 seems like a good number. 1, 2, 10. Okay, back. My name is Andrew, and there's something really wrong with me. I don't know what it is or how it even started happening. All I can say is that when I was 17, I started to be able to destroy things. Just make them disappear when I touch them. There's no way to control it, because as soon as I try, something else gets atomized and somebody else dies. God, if this, not a jail, but a prison, if they hadn't gotten to me, I don't know how many more people would have died. How many are dead in here right now? They say I've killed 30 people, but that's probably an exaggeration. Something to get into my head. I know I killed. I killed Mom. But that was an accident. I didn't know what I was doing. But actually, that's not how it happened at all. My name is Damien, and I'm pretty amazing. Actually, amazing is an understatement. I can do incredible, mind-blowing shit that none of you pussies reading this could even dream of. Look, dude, when you can fucking blow shit out of the sky with a touch, you turn some heads. Sure, before I came to this joint, I had a lot of fun with mayhem. But it's cool in here. Where else are we gonna ignite some old hustler and kick back with a yoo-hoo? It's cold in here, but we're still sharp. The instrument sharpens the blade on every whetstone it uncovers, breaking new ground by breaking the bonds in front of him. Every shape it grasps, sees, tastes, and touches in 1,000,000 new ways. Godspeed. No, you're remembering it wrong. You need to answer us. What's your name? I don't have one. I don't know. Where did you come from? California, let me get some headspace, okay? This is too much. This is too gone. Just try to stay with us, okay? Who are you? I said I don't know. Fuck. Can you give me just one goddamn minute? Please, calm down. You're safe here. No, but it's out there. It's coming out, coming up, and ripping people to pieces. You're safe now. It's over. No, it never ends. No matter how many times I fucking want to go back to square one, to crawl into a little hole inside myself and let this thing take over, it never happens. Something always pulls back from the edge. Memories fail me. And like so many other days, the sun is rising in the west, and the clock counts down from 0. They keep making me change. Every time death is coming close, I'm changed to suit the world better. My mind breaks and molds to fit their new sculpt, the pièce de résistance of their new exhibition. Memories and histories rewritten. Memories and histories rewritten, until nothing remains of where they started but a name. And I don't know what my name is. Rewritable tale. This sounds like Doctor Who. It sounds like the Celestis, after discovering the Primal Doctor, was like, we're just gonna convert you into whatever we want. And so it's like the theory of like the Master is just the Doctor. And like, you know, everybody is. Alright. Let's move on to 214. So, alive ectoentropic Euclid, humanoid, rewritable, rewrite, sapient. Interesting. 214, there's an image. The description of the image says blood sample from 214. Okay. The name of the image is just mercury2.jpg. Okay. I mean, mercury seems fitting. This appears to be like some odd vial of mercury, for sure. It appears to be a glass scientific instrument for holding liquid, for sure. What appears to be in the liquid is definitely mercury. It's a metallic-looking liquid, so that fits the bill. But otherwise, it's a very reflective gray-silver liquid with shadows surrounding just the cusp of the container. The light source is coming from above. You could see a further shadow on the tip of the container, although I'm not sure how you even put stuff into this. It's probably like you have to reseal this. I don't know. There is also what appears to be a pen or a small ceramic tube that is like sort of transformed at the tip. It's probably a pen, because at the very tip is like a black hole. Meaning like a small circular black recess. The ground below these two objects is just like a granite countertop, or even just like I don't know. It's gray. It has some like typical pattern that looks like some kitchen counter. The only thing really of note is that the reflection on the tip of the container is sort of skin color. It's like a, well, you know, many different skin color, but it's like a peach. That could mean anything, though. The mercury itself appears to be reflecting what looks like a large light. If it is mercury. A large rectangular light, and then what appears to be a lot of shelving, and I have no idea. For some reason, I get nostalgia thinking of Home Alone 1. Looking at that. Huh. Maybe like dropping all the cans on the guys invading the house? I don't know. All the cans up in the rafters? I don't know. Alright, 214, item number 214, object class Euclid, special containment procedures. 214 is to be contained in a 4 meter by 4 meter quarantine cell suitable for a long-term human 214 is to be contained in a 4 by 4 meter quarantine cell suitable for long-term human habitation within Bioresearch Area 12. It is to be considered an etiological agent of a Level 4 biohazard. Level 4 biohazard containment requires clean rooms, pre- and post-entry decontamination showers, and a vacuum antechamber. All air and water sources to 214's containment area are to be isolated from the rest of the area. All employees entering 214's containment area must wear hazmat suits with self-contained oxygen supply and supplemental All employees entering 214's containment area must wear hazmat suits with self-contained oxygen supply and supplemental cut-resistant liner. The cell shall be under continuous observation using remote video surveillance. 214 is to be considered a danger to itself and others, and shall not be allowed to possess potentially dangerous utensils. Due to 214's distinct perception of pain, guards shall not cause physical injury to it except under the direction of Level 2 staff. Beyond the above procedures, all personnel intending to interact with 214 are to undergo psychological evaluation. Any employees with prior history of depression are not permitted to interact with it. Regular sessions of psychological observation are to occur post-research on all participants. Any personnel exhibiting 2 or more of the following symptoms during observation are to be quarantined immediately in identical containment to 214. There's like a different perception of pain. I'm going to go ahead and hazard a guess as like a consciousness expanding pain. Kind of like JoJo. Bullet. Self-harming behaviors. Bullet. Blunted affect. Bullet. Glossolalia. Bullet. Logorrhea. Bullet. Compulsive lying. Bullet. Silvery discharge from mucous membranes or wounds. Bullet. Obsessive compulsive behaviors, particularly in writing or speech. Research staff is heavily encouraged to read Log 214 and interview 214 before conducting experiments as a precautionary measure. Okay, that links to the named articles. Description: 214 is a male, age double blank, formerly Agent blank of the Foundation. Physical and mental changes were noted after investigation of incident triple blank at blank Public Library, MA, or Massachusetts. Containment of 214 is detailed and redacted. A physical examination of 214 shows the replacement of most bodily fluids, including but not limited to blood, vitreous humor, seminal fluid, and cerebrospinal fluid, with a mercury-like substance. I can't fucking read cerebrospinal, huh? A physical examination of 214 shows the replacement of most bodily fluids, including but not limited to blood, vitreous humor, seminal fluid, and cerebrospinal fluid, with a mercury-like substance. Chemical analysis shows that the substance is a suspension of complex organometallic compounds in a protein and lipid-enriched serum, but so far nothing more can be ascertained of its origins or purpose. Most bodily functions were observed to no longer be active in 214, though the related organs still exist in a preserved state within the body cavity. This includes the brain, which no longer shows activity on electroencephalography. It shows notable selective regenerative properties, some injuries vanishing within moments of infliction while others remain unhealed, even after a period of time in which a normal human would have recovered. 214 does not experience pain normally, instead reacting to it as pleasure with no regard to physical damage to its body. Objects have been noted to disappear in the vicinity of 214. There is currently no known method of recovering lost items. Addendum 214A. Excerpts of Agent Blank's diary related to becoming 214 have been transcribed to Log 214. Addendum 214B. Logs of interview with 214 have been transcribed to Interview 214. Addendum 214C. Researcher Blank has been detained after showing symptoms identical in nature to 214 at the conclusion of L214. Containment procedures have been updated to reflect the contagious nature of 214. Biohazard, contagion, Euclid, humanoid, liquid. It contains like fucking bio-nanobots within the mercury? Okay. Just got home from friend's house, shit was so fun. You went swimming? I think I remember you saying that. Hey, I'm glad you had fun. Or whatever you did, I'm glad you had fun. Log 214. Personal log of Agent Blank. Date 0405 quadruple blank. I got my latest assignment. Apparently there's reports of cult activity centered around a public library in blank. Shipping out tomorrow to investigate, along with the rest of Lambda 7. There's major concern about it being a part of Church of the Broken God, given that the location contains a large museum of machinery. Hate dealing with them. The crazy machine god thing gives me more creeps than the rest of this shit here. Most of them only kill your body. Okay, so we get the Church of the Broken God reference. That's some overarching lore. Date 0409, quadruple blank. Initial recons back on the building. Nothing anomalous so far, with 90% of the building mapped. Only thing left is the periodicals wing. That seems to be closed for renovations. Seems like people go into there quite a bit after dark, but the door is always locked, and the architect that designed this place seems to have a personal vendetta against windows. Nothing wrong with spikes, though. This place has spikes on every surface that they could think of. Team's going to shadow one of them tomorrow. Nothing's wrong with spikes, though. This place has spikes on every surface they could think of. Team's going to shadow one of them in tomorrow and see what's going on inside. Note, between this log and the next, the entirety of Lambda 7 vanished without a trace, along with the reported cultists. Hell yeah, swimming win. Let's fucking go. I still need to go swimming this summer. The Bren needs to go swimming every summer. Anomaly. Will he swim this summer? Date 0411 quadruple blank. Pages upon pages flitter through my mind. Breeze bore in motion, revealing in the saturation of information. Coalesced and indexed to perfection, safely stored. The library approves of the new acquisitions to its collection, filling her walls evermore with the distilled essence of being, for all to borrow but never keep. Subsuming the identity, enrobing oneself in another for a time, for the goals, for the plans, and partly realized dreams, emulating the flesh and its frailties, its ichors and impulses, as a marionette on string dancing its jerky frivolity. Wow, that's quite poetic. Date 0412 quadruple blank, 9:32 a.m. Awake again, not sure how long I've slept. Awake again, not sure how long I've slept on the way back to Redacted. Read previous log, I think I might have been sleep deprived. It doesn't make any sense. Cult's gone, team's gone. Writing after action report. Attempted to erase previous log, but can't see the button to do that. Compromised. The word keeps echoing in my head. I think I've been compromised. Cut myself shaving this morning and bled quicksilver into the sink. The sensation of the blade cutting into my skin felt like a lover's caress. It's my duty to self-terminate. I've been compromised. Once the report's done, I'll do that. Still have my sidearm. 12:04 p.m. Tension, build up, trembling finger. Tension, build up, trembling finger. Burnt cordite taste. The flash, the burst. The romance of lead entangling bone and fat. Followed by orgiastic release. My man shot himself in the brain. And because his pain complex was inverted, he was fucking writing as he was dying. And his, neurons were misfiring. Holy shit. Holy shit. Date 0413 quadruple blank. Awake again. Bullet didn't do anything. No recollection since I pulled the trigger. I was in the bathroom, now I'm in bed. There's hotel and medical staff uniforms laying around but no people. No remains. No sign of a struggle, and not a drop of blood. Tried to call my superiors to warn them that I'm coming, but my fingers keep missing the numbers. All I can do is write in here. Something makes me think that they want this to be found, just too late. Still bleeding out the back of my head. Still bleeding out of the back of my head. Something feels right about that, and the warm sensation running down is delightful. End log. Well, that's fucking horrifying. Hey, at least he died happy, I guess. What the fuck? I don't know, it's all rationality thrown out the window at that point. I cut myself shaving, but it felt good, and I'm now compromised, so I gotta end it. That's fucked. I don't understand if it's an addiction to pain, or if he just goes I am a danger to others in this mission context. I don't know, that's weird. Supplement. Okay. Interview 214. Interviewed 214, this just links back to the original page. Interviewer, researcher blank. Forward. Initial interview to ascertain the origin of 214. Begin log. Researcher blank. I'd like you to tell me again about what happened at the library. 214. Library. Home sweet home. If you've been to the periodicals section, such a lovely place, glittering with the dewy webs of knowledge strewn across the indexes. Researcher blank. Home. You mean like a metaphysical home, or did you actually plan to live there? We show your address of record as redacted. Of record. I don't know why I thought that. We show your address of record as redacted. I don't know why. I'm like fixated on that. Okay, fine. We show your address of record as redacted. Like, for some reason, I wanted to say it that way. Okay. 214. I've always been there. I'm still there. Home is where the library is, after all. And this is my home now, isn't it? So this is the library now. It'll be fine. It'll be a fine one, too, once I get everything organized. Researcher blank. What do you remember of before the library? Do you remember your name? Do you remember why you were sent to the library? 214. Oh, my name is SCP-214, isn't it? Filed and stored away with so many other texts. I greatly admire your work. You hold so many beautiful things here. The library. Researcher. That's your designation, yes? Do you remember what it was? 214. Designation. A distinguishing name. Yes, I know it. Do you remember what yours is? Researcher. Of course, it's blank. But I'm not the one answering the questions here. Do you remember what happened at the library between when you arrived and when you were found? 214. Are you sure? Because you told me it was Alicia before. Sometimes people lose themselves, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. It's for your own good that you know yourself. What happened? What always happens in a library? Knowledge was exchanged. Researcher. Alicia? What? No. You're attempting to change the subject. What knowledges were exchanged in the library? With whom? Reports suggested that double-blank people inside engaging in some kind of synchronized ritual, but when we showed up, you were the only one there. What happened to the rest of the people, 214? 214. I already told you. Knowledge was exchanged. Everything is information, to be stored and sorted, compressed if need be. So the ritual maybe was like, we copied all of the Foundation and deleted everybody. But like maybe we cataloged all of it into this person, or like a parallel universe got their copy in exchange for deleting them here or something. I don't know. I already told you, knowledge was exchanged. Everything is information, to be stored and sorted, compressed if need be. Researcher. Stored where? There were no traces of any other individuals inside that building when the recovery team arrived. But you were covered in the unknown sample. There, in the middle of the sentence there, but you were covered in brackets, long pause, unbracketized, the unknown sample. Just wanted to clarify there. 214. Oh, Alicia, you do have such a limited view of things here. You asked the wrong questions. You already know where. They're in the library. They never left. Researcher. My name isn't... We did a thorough search of the library. You were the only one inside. We didn't even pick up DNA traces. Someone or something had swept it clean. Tell me what happened in the library. What happened to those 17 people? 214. 214. You keep confusing the map for the territory, Alicia. It is a bad habit. They've been indexed in the library, stored, numbered, and sorted. Researcher. You don't mean the building, do you, when you talk about the library? 214. You do good work here. We work at complementary purposes. To secure, protect, and contain. To organize, quantify, and enlighten. You are so bright, Alicia. Just a few more steps now. Researcher. Can you show me the library? 214. Of course I can. End log. Closing statement. Researcher blank was found after the interview inside 214's enclosure, leaking silvery fluid from redacted. Interview supplement. That's freaky. When I think of library, I think of the Akashic Library. So maybe we convert it to like Robo-Blood and we can see the like grand library inside our mind. I don't know. It's infectious. I'm so worn out. Swimming will do that to you. You need to eat some good food to replenish all the energy you expended. 215, item number 215, object class safe. Special containment procedures. 215 presents no threat unless warned, and so shall be kept in Dr. Namdi's office until studies are concluded. 215 is to be kept in its case when not in use, so as to prevent scratches to the lenses. 215 description. 215 is a pair of prescription glasses designed to correct myopic vision. When worn, 215 induces a belief in the wearer that inanimate objects are sentient and capable of communication with the wearer. The severity of this delusion varies from wearer to wearer, but generally strengthens over time if 215 is worn regularly, and in the most cases, the severity of this delusion varies from wearer to wearer, but generally strengthens over time if 215 is worn regularly, and in the worst cases manifests as a severe case of obsessive-compulsive disorder culminating in an irrational fear of all machines. I think I've read this before. Like, you start talking to objects. I'm talking to my computer right now, dude. I'm fucking crazy. There's no definite safe amount of time to wear 215. While the onset of delusions generally takes at least 24 hours, a great deal depends on the psychological disposition of the wearer before 215 is put on, and persons who already have some varieties of obsessive-compulsive, synesthesiac, or technophiliac disorders have been known to begin suffering 215's effects less than an hour after donning it. This sounds like a fucking bad VR headset. This is the Torment Nexus. Removing 215 does not remove the delusion, although normal methods of therapy have proven to be effective in less severe cases so long as 215 is not put on again. A full recovery can turn to a full relapse in less than a day by the return of 215. By the end of the second week, wearers tend to violently resist any attempt to separate them from 215. Case study of 215-99983D. 99983D displayed a typical progression of 215-related symptoms. The subject had no record of mental illness before the commencement of the test. Week 1, Day 1. 99983D is given a temporary position as a research assistant to Dr. Namdi and is issued 215 to replace a pair of his own spectacles that were destroyed by Foundation personnel. Wow, we pranked him. Subject complained that 215 didn't match his old prescription and stated that he was suffering from blurry vision and headaches by the end of the day. Week 1, Day 3. Subject stopped complaining of blurred vision and began referring to 215 as Steve. Subject stated that Steve and I get along all right. It's not exactly a match made in heaven, but we get by. Subject did not assign names or personalities to any object besides 215. Week 1, Day 6. Subject began to assign personalities to complex electrical and mechanical devices that he regularly interacted with, including the computer that he logged data entries in, the break room coffee machine, refrigerator, microwave, and a PDA he was issued by Dr. Namdi. Most interactions involve complaining about the general uncooperative behavior of these devices. Dude, the PDA's fucking real bad up, dude. Like, it won't talk back to me, I say to the coffee machine. Week 2, Day 1. Subject began having prolonged conversations with the aforementioned mechanical and electrical devices, giving all of them names and sometimes speaking of them in personal terms with other Foundation personnel, almost always to the effect that the devices were somehow antagonistic. Subject reported that while he could not hear the devices speaking, their body language was very clear. Okay? What the fuck? No, that vending machine's looking at me weird, man. That Coke can machine's looking at me wrong.
Get the fuck out of here! Stop looking at me with your Coke can eyes!
Week 2, Day 5. Subject began assigning personal qualities to less complex objects in his work environment, starting with his office supplies. Week 2, Day 7. Subject began minimizing interactions with living people and talked almost constantly to his inanimate companions. Discussions with staff psychologists indicated a sophisticated web of relationships between 99983D and the objects. So it's either like you put the glasses on and it literally happens, every object has its own world, or legit it just drives you fucking crazy. Are you reading, son? Yeah. Hey, Dad. Get out of here, Dad. You start tripping over all the paperwork. Watch out, that one's like really sharp if you start taking a lot of papers out of here, Dad. Huh? Watch out, that one's a teenager that can like create vacuum waves and cut shit in half, but has like a demigod inside of him, so we put him to sleep. Huh? Are you winning, son? Are you reading, son? Pasta, average Joe in the meal. I'm gonna have a burger later. Burger and some, pasta. Burger and some mac and cheese. Week 3, Day 3. Subject had a violent altercation with the break room microwave after a burrito came out of it underdone. Subject reportedly cursed and shouted at the machine before attempting to destroy it with a break room chair. Subject was restrained and subdued, and later apologized for his behavior to the microwave and the chair. Let's fucking go. He came back around and issues an apology to the inanimate objects. Let's fucking go. Public apology to the chair and microwave. Week 3, Day 6. Subject began personifying set pieces in his environment, referring to floor tiles and ceiling lights as people. Subject would stop to thank each inanimate object he interacted with, including each individual floor tile, for permitting him to use it. So it's like a form of like pantheism, everything is conscious. What is this? What's the term for this? Panpsychism. There you go. These myopic glasses give you panpsychism. It's not a question of whether you go crazy. It's that like the ghost in the shell starts talking to you from fucking everywhere, and you go fucking like karmically crazy, dharma crazy. You can't choose anything because everything is consciously aware of you. Like a fucking dust particle is gonna like be aware of you, and you're gonna have to thank it gratuitously for your existence. That's where the craziness comes out. I mean, panpsychism is a way to think about things, but this type of it is like OCD as fuck. Week 4, Day 2. Subject began displaying signs of stress when asked to interact with any complex electrical or mechanical appliance, claiming that the machines had become hostile and threatening. Mechanical failures or faulty performances by any machines in 99983D's presence were interpreted as signs of impending rebellion. Week 4, Day 3. Subject refused to come to work. His PDA had been smashed. 99983D claimed it was an act of self-defense. After being coerced into coming into the office, the subject began screaming and showing other signs of acute stress at the sight of his computer, which was turned off at the time. He attempted to force his way past the security guards at the door and had to be sedated. Week 4, Day 5. A subject destroyed his table lamp, alarm clock, watch, and ceiling fan. Afterwards, he refused to come out of his room. When Foundation personnel forced their way into his cell, they found him dead with severe burns on his hands and arms. He is presumed to have been fatally electrocuted while attempting to disable an electrical outlet in the room. So it's like extreme paranoia of just like anything in existence. You just start like implicating everything. So like if there wasn't an outlet in the wall, he probably would have started like punching concrete. Thank you for your service table that my laptop is placed on. Thank you. My hand starts bleeding. Addendum. I have been asked many times now if 215 enables the wearer to actually interact with machines in any meaningful way, differently from how normal people do it, and I'm pretty confident the answer is no. I've done every test I can think of, and all the evidence I've seen suggests that the living machines only exist in the wearer's head. There are things in this foundation that can make what you believe real, but this isn't one of them. Dr. Namdi. Okay. Clothing, mind-affecting, safe. Yeah, safe is up in the air there. 216, item number 216, object class safe, special containment procedures. Special containment procedures. There you go again. Just another way I wanted to read it. 216 currently resides in Laboratory 5. Access requires Level 2 clearance. Insertion of recording devices into 216 is prohibited without O5 approval. Description: 216 is a 35.6 centimeters, parentheses 14 inches, high iron safe with multiple dial combination lock. The lock has 7 dials, each with numbers ranging from 0 to 9. The combination cannot be changed while the door is open. The weight of the device appears to fluctuate in an obtuse manner. See document 88B. The door of 216 can always be open, but the accessible interior space appears to change depending on the currently entered combination. Objects placed inside 216 may be accessed by re-entering the combination that was configured when the object was inserted. Objects retrieved from 216 appear to be undamaged by the device. So it's a type of like quantum storage or whatever. We put everything into the same location, and we can key it to a combination. Okay. They appear to be undamaged by the device. It is speculated that every possible lock combination results in a different interior, and that there are approximately 4 million available compartments. It is unknown how many objects currently reside inside 216. An engraving found on the bottom of the safe reads 3/4 or 3/4 or 3/4. Whatever. 3/4. It has been hypothesized that the compartments of 216 are shared with 3 other devices of a similar nature. This hypothesis is consistent with the findings reported in document 88B. Document number 88A, Dr. Blank initial test log. Combination lock set to 6692724 and door open. Compartment appears empty. 1 notebook and pencil placed inside and door closed. Combination lock set to 6692725 and door open. Compartment appears empty. Combination lock reset to 6692724 and combination lock reset to 6692724 and door open. Notebook and pencil retrieved from compartment. Note: 216 appears to be very efficient storage solution. Dr. Blank. So what happens if we put something like time related in here and, lock it away? Will time continue? What happens if we put something in there that we really want to not continue, or we really wanted to continue? Document 88B, Dr. Blank test log. Testing the effect of inserted items on the SCP's total mass. Total mass of unit before inserting item, 935.877 kilograms. Notebook and pencil, total mass 350 kilograms. Notebook and pencil, total mass 350 grams. Inserted into 216 and door closed. Total mass of unit after inserting item, 935.965 kilograms. Expected mass, 936.227 kilograms. Actual mass, 935.965 kilograms. There's a slight discrepancy. It gained ever so slightly, 262 grams. Wait, what? Yeah, okay, I thought it lowered in mass. I was confused there. Testing shows that 216 takes on approximately 25% of the mass of its contents, suggesting the mass is distributed evenly between 216 and the 3 other hypothesized devices. Okay, it could be that, or it's like the network within the domain distributes it there, and so like the mass is lowered just by the properties of the domain. I don't know, maybe. Document 122A, Dr. Blank test log. Compartments 000, 0000, and 0000, 206 checked for contents. Compartments 0000000 found to contain traces of sawdust. Compartments 0000001 through 0000206 found to be empty. Further testing arranged. Okay. Dr. Blank test log. Compartments 0000332 through 0000398. Each compartment had a body part from blank blank. A 28-year-old female who had been reported missing on double blank 20 double blank. Contents removed for identification and then incinerated. Liver, spleen, and lungs not recovered. So this makes me think that a Foundation agent is a murderer. But maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. Document 159B, Dr. Blank test log. Compartment 0000409, a live Wolverine, Gulo, adult male, with a mass of 30 kilograms. Upon the door being opened, it attacked and killed Dr. Blank and mutilated 2 nearby D-class personnel before being shot 5 times by guards. Autopsy of the Wolverine revealed no anomalies. So we keep escalating in the combinations, we will discover some crazy shit. We have to select this normally, because we'll, like, encounter boss memory allocation regions. We don't know. If we keep escalating in number, we might have just, like, the first thing is a Pokedex. Or the very first thing is, like, a memory allocation spot. The next, like, 400 is, like, onward is just creatures. So we go to, like, allocation 1000 and we start, like, fighting Mewtwo. No thanks. Subsequent examination of compartment 0000409 has revealed it now contains only loose Wolverine hair with residual traces of Wolverine urine and Wolverine anal musk. Okay, so this either begs the question of whether the persistence of the medium continues at a slower pace. Once the doors open, it pissed and shit, and then time froze once we closed the door. And it also begs the question of whether the boundaries, like memory allocation addresses, can extend, like you go to 410 as the Wolverine, and you have Wolverines in 410, or if it is exclusively within that whole subdomain of 409. Who knows? Document 160A, Dr. Blank test log. Compartment 0000456. A fully loaded Glock 19 handgun with a round in the chamber and 1 regular flavor Klondike bar ice cream dessert. The ice cream bar was not melted, cold to the touch, and remained so long as it was in the compartment. It was removed for inspection and began to melt within 2 minutes. It was placed back in the compartment, the door closed for 3 hours and then reopened. The ice cream bar was in the same slightly melted state as when it was placed back 3 hours prior. The ice cream bar was removed, placed in a freezer in the nearby second floor cafeteria for 1 hour. After 1 hour, it was placed back into the compartment with the handgun and the door closed. Just gonna keep it there forever? I want to see if the Glock and the ice cream does anything. Maybe it'll come out and be like an ice cream wielding Glock. Maybe it'll be a Glock wielding ice cream. Maybe we'll make like a whole parallel universe of Glock ice creams. Who knows? Document 161A, Dr. Blank test log. Chamber 0000501, confirmed to be empty, had 1 standard Foundation GPS unit placed inside it. When the chamber was sealed, GPS failed. Data from the unit upon retrieval showed that the satellite was unable to confirm source location during this time. So it's like the Doctor Who TARDIS extra dimensionality, except the TARDIS kind of controls what you see on the outside world timescale. You can sort of like, as you ramp up the car acceleration, if you have the brake, the car is still ramping up. But if you release the brake, it's going to like speed off with all that energy, right? Because you're peeling out. Same concept, like you can kind of ramp up the outside time while you're in the TARDIS. Or you could just set it to like whatever figure, real time, or like half speed. Usually it's set to real time. The idea is like this is a TARDIS interior without the time choice. There's no computerization on the inside. We've just got a pocket dimension that's got like logic constraints. Very high-level logic. Document 174B, Dr. King test log. Chamber 6162384, 51 apple seeds. Chamber 1846563, 22 apple seeds. Chamber 29600104, 9 apple seeds. Chamber 8585821, 78 apple seeds. Chamber 1111111, 1 heavily decomposed apple. Okay. Are we trying to assign memory addresses with numbers here? Or, like, what the fuck? Huh? Document number 152E, Dr. Blank test log. I wonder if this was passed around among friends, and one guy was like, I would just put apple seeds everywhere, I guess. I would make it an art experiment to see the degradation process. I would quantumly allocate apple. Document 152E, Dr. Blank test log. On 0416 double blank, all previously checked compartments were opened with the intention of confirming contents. When compartments 0000332 to 0000398 were opened, individual body parts were found corresponding to an unknown male, arranged in the same order as found in experiment 152D, including the liver, spleen, and lungs. All previous traces of tissue from experiment 152D, which had not been cleaned, were found to have been sterilized from these compartments. Pursuant to request for 05 directive, body parts were placed back into their compartments. Containment procedures currently under review. The question of, like, if we try to, like, clean the interior at all, we might actually fuck something up. Just put it back. We don't want to mess anything up by, like, incinerating the body. Maybe it's a fucking ghost. We're not gonna mess with that. We've already done that shit before. We went to the hospital that constantly, like, spawned in new ghost people getting born into a body out of the morgue, and then they would, like, self-incinerate. Yeah, no, we're good. Self-immolate is the word I'm looking for. Like, they go back to the thing, though, and they burn up, so I don't know. Document 162A, Dr. Blank test log. Testing performed by Dr. Blank. 2 different doctors here. The first doctor, much longer name. The second doctor, much shorter name. 1 blank digital video camera recorder was set to record and placed in compartment 550000. Wait, I can't. 1 blank digital video camera recorder was set to record and placed in compartment 550000, oriented so as to face outwards towards the door. The door was closed and compartment 550001 was opened. Compartment 550001 was found to be empty. The door was closed. Compartment 550000 was opened again, and the video camera recorder was retrieved. Am I reading that right? It's 4 zeros after 550, whatever. Upon viewing the recorded footage, Dr. Blank suffered from a transient ischemic attack. The recorded footage shows Dr. Blank placing the video camera inside the safe and closing the door. No time passes before the door is reopened and the video camera is retrieved from the safe. This is inconsistent with the scene reported by Dr. Blank. No audible sound is present on the recorded footage. A subsequent analysis of the video camera revealed that several internal components of the camera had been fractured. Is this because, like, we had footage of a testing personnel on the camera? That's really odd. Document 162B, Dr. Blank test log, data expunged. Data expunged. I'm too fucking tired to make pasta. I started making it and literally said, man, fuck this shit. I thought you said I'm too tired to make pizza. I'm like, man, you ate pasta and you're making pizza now? Holy shit. Hold on, I'll make it for you. I love cooking. Document 162D, Dr. Blank test log. 1 tape recorder was placed inside compartment 5500000 and the door was closed. Several other compartments were opened and closed before returning to compartment 550000 and retrieving the tape recorder. This is probably just boundary testing to make sure it wasn't like, we need to test a different allocation opening sequence to get different results. I don't know. The following file has been reported to cause disorientation, nausea, sweating, a sense of overwhelming despair, abdominal pains, panic attacks, migraines, and strokes. This file should only be listened to in a secure environment. Do not drive or operate heavy machinery for up to 24 hours after listening to this file. Refrain from making quick eye movements while listening to this file. Okay. It's 1 minute and 4 seconds long. Well, holy shit. I don't know if it's because I'm like thinking in Doctor Who terms, but I immediately think of like the internal Banshee circuitry. So like let's just assume time is slowed down, but the effect is still working. So this, I would imagine, is like, it sounded like a staggered alternating rhythm that was increasing, decreasing, but also doing like some mathematical function. It also sounded like sick breakcore music by Venetian Snares. Loved it. But legit, it sounded like a type of pattern, which again just leads me back to it's a frequency, Banshee circuit, etc. If we've got this internal structure that's upheld by whatever, it would make sense to carry like a untraceable signal within its domain that would be able to handle things even outside of like a time context. Sure, like light would work too, I guess. But the idea is that something was detected that was not expected on this timescale. And who knows? Like we not only did we test different openings, but like the time scale outside of placing the thing in and then time passing to taking it out. Like a lot of different factors here happen, but what I heard definitely sounded like maybe not computerized, but like a type of logic. Shit sounds like mushrooms talking to each other. Cue X-Files noises. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I just immediately think of the Banshee circuit. Like, it's inside the TARDIS, and like you could just have nothing in there. You just got a blank TARDIS, you put yourself in there, you close the door. You put in the telepathic circuit, and you're like, I want to hear the Banshee circuits, like, keeping me alive inside here. And that's where you hear beep, 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 beep. Artifact, audio, extra-dimensional, safe, spatial. Okay. We were directed to this one, 217. What is this one, I wonder? Item number 217, Object Class Keter. Special containment procedures. Containment area is to be kept behind 2 reverse pressure airlocks. Chemical shower sterilization, full contained atmosphere hazmat suits, and 24-hour post-interaction quarantine and testing are mandatory for all personnel entering containment area. Should containment be breached, the blast door for the containment and research area will seal, and chemical agent ZEER 217-11 will be pumped into the air. ZEER, Z-E-E-R. Any humans exposed to 217 are to be contained and held for observation. Any items touched by those affected by 217 must be sterilized. Nah, it literally sounds like mushrooms talking to each other. You got like a video of that, of like mushrooms communicating? I wouldn't be surprised. They're just like fucking neurons, but they come from mold, pretty much. Mold neurons. Description: 217 is a virus, incurable by current means, with a rate of infectivity at 100%. It affects all organisms in the kingdom Animalia and can be spread via touch or contact with bodily fluid. 217 is very hardy and can survive for years outside the host body. The progress of the infection is very slow, with some subjects going several years before manifesting any symptoms. 217 alters the biochemistry of organic tissue, causing organic matter to rearrange into a form of organic metal. The process involved with this change are not yet fully understood, but the advanced stages are well documented. A subject will begin to turn into a complex arrangement of gears and clockwork, these taking over for the form. A subject will begin to turn into a complex arrangement of gears and clockwork, these taking over for the former biological functions. Advanced stage infection is reported to be very painful, but earlier stages are oftentimes unnoticed, with only vague feelings of confusion, insomnia, and joint stiffness. Hearts are replaced by gears and small tubes, joints by gear networks, eyes by structures not unlike primitive hand crank film cameras, etc. Got you one sec. Alright. 217 shows first on the outside of the body in all creatures except mammals. In mammals, it first converts the internal structure before manifesting outside the body. This can cause those infected to go for very long periods of time without knowing of infection. 217 has even been shown to totally convert the inside of the body before showing any externally visible symptoms. 217 has infected several major metropolitan areas in the past, most notably Blank. The mental state of those in middle to advanced stages of infection has been shown to be much diminished. Subjects respond in a repetitive fashion, are very dull and mechanical in action, are easily distracted and confused, and appear generally irritable when faced with new problems. In addition, research on a fully converted brain has data expunged. Pretty good example, thank you. The chronoplasm in Doctor Who lore is it's a type of fungus that grows over 1,000 years. Or the growth can be accelerated, but it grows into a logical, biological circuit. 5 minutes of blue oyster mushrooms.
How to open your car door.
Trying to open your car door underwater. Huh? All these mushrooms are hooked up to this crazy machine. Mushroom music? What the fuck? Check this shit out. What the fuck? That's amazing. That's goddamn fucking cool. What the hell, man? Okay. Mushrooms are attempting to communicate with us. I wouldn't even fucking be surprised. Mushrooms talking with a vocabulary of 50 words. I would assume some of this could just be interpreted as mental wavelength of this fungal growth. But the other side of it sounds completely like music. So the fact that there's harmony inside of the neurological structure of this makes me think that it is thinking. Of course it is. But you could ask my opinion about this all day and night. But dude, I could go further beyond it. I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to communicate with us. That's fucking cool. This is the first time they've ever touched, but as you can see, even when I pull them apart at the end of the video, they're still able to pass a small amount of signal through grow bags into the stainless steel table. The module is specifically designed for communicating with mushroom sound. That's fucking cool. Mushrooms talking with vocabulary?
So my notifications have been blowing up all week.
Uh-huh.
For me, because I've always sort of imagined the communication signals being sent out by them.
We inserted electrodes in this fungal laser.
So we get responses to stimuli. Yeah. I mean, there probably isn't enough research in this arena, right? I think that a lot of biologists don't really think about this. And every other track that goes with this is probably just undiscovered right now. I think there's a lot to be discovered here, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, we have a lot of research into trying to communicate with dolphins. I wouldn't be surprised if this is, like, super, super relevant. If a mushroom reacts to stimuli and also reacts with, like, an opinion or, like, in a way that can form a thought in any function. Yeah, plants can talk, bro. Like, that's as far as you need to go in, like, the ethics department. We need to start asking the real hard-hitting questions after that. Fuck am I hearing? This one just sounds like Cruelty Squad menu theme, kinda. Fucking love mushrooms, are so fucking interesting. Okay, I talk about aliens and shit. I wouldn't be surprised either if instead of aliens, it's just like higher sentient mushrooms. Who knows? Certain mushrooms can exist, their spores can exist in the vacuum of space. So who fucking knows? Document 217-6, Notes on Symptoms. Subjects infected by 217 have, at early stages, reported no major symptoms aside from increased lethargy and a general lack of emotional response. Some have reported a feeling of fluttering or moving under the skin, coupled with a persisting ticking noise. This noise seems most prominent when 217 infects the shoulders, neck, and head. However, it is inaudible if recording equipment is pressed against an affected area. Thank you for the video, by the way. That was very informative. I don't know if it's more like you believe in this, more it's like you subscribe to it, because it's real science. But, you know, I definitely subscribe to this. Initial infection of 217 is, as has been already stated, almost undetectable. As the infection advances, subjects will begin to feel sharp tearing pain in areas that are being converted. It has been compared to a knife wound or a deep muscle tear and can persist for hours or several days, depending on both the subject and the area affected. The new clockwork organs appear to tear and rip at tissue for a short time before becoming fully integrated and settling into the surrounding tissue, and this is believed to account for the pain. It's like not error checking, it just keeps going until it gets something in the place it's looking for. This is clockworks. Insane sentience fungi. Sentient yeast! Of course, my bro. Yeah. Areas infected appear to be metal, mainly brass, steel, and iron. Other substances have been reported appearing to be leather, rubber, glass, wood, and other basic materials. Despite appearances, it is purely organic material and even carries the subject's DNA. Organs and tissues affected appear more resilient than normal, carrying the same strength and density as the materials they resemble, instead of normal tissue density. Areas damaged repair over time, but is much slower than standard human regeneration. So again, this is, once again, it circles back to like, if like future people had magic wands, and you just cast a spell that does fucking anything. It's like technological magic. We had a future person cast a spell that's like, haha, you turn into a clockwork. But like the detriment, the downside is that like you turn into a shitty clockwork. Once again, we cycle back to like this weird just like effect that can be ascribed. And once you have it, it's fucking over. Your whole body's mechanisms are going to convert you into it anyway. Damaged areas can be instantly repaired by replacing damaged areas with new parts of the same type. Testing has shown that there are no ill effects if parts made from normal materials, steel, wood, leather, replace the existing biomechanical clockworks. Most alarming, people infected with 217 can continue for months, even years, without being detected. With infection so easy to spread, hundreds could be affected before proper containment could be enforced. Infection appears to spread most quickly in large offices, malls, and other large concentrations of people. Note, anything or anyone suspected or confirmed to be infected with 217 is not to be allowed near SCP-882. Addendum. At this time, cross-experimentation between 229 and 217 is allowed, only with O5 approval. So this is the first time, I think, in the history of reading through sequentially, that we see a chain of events now. Like, yes, some of them link forward, but this is within 10 articles that we've linked forward, and then already within that same 10 we link forward again. So either the Foundation is doing the like, okay, we are clearly like creating a track record here, or just it's all coincidence. I don't know. Okay. Broken God, Clockwork, Keter, Transfiguration, Virus. Has to do with the cult of the Broken God, huh? So 882 links to this. Is this the gears? Some gears, I don't know. In 229, we will read at some other point. 218. I think your mic is like popping or something. It just stopped. It was like on and off, huh? You know what it is? It was me doing this. I was doing that just a moment ago because I was like trying to get your attention. I hope it's not popping in like some other method. There's some other mechanism. Item number 218, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. 218 is contained within a standard aquatic specimen tank, saltwater. Tank maintenance is to be carried out by remote drone only. No further procedures are required. Description: 218 is a predatory colonial organism weighing approximately 1,800 kilograms, consisting of several hundred parasitic lampreys of the family Petromyzontidae, designated Petromyzon anomalies. Individual Petromyzon anomalous specimens average between 50 and 90 centimeters in length, and are similar in appearance to the common sea lamprey Petromyzon marinus, with the primary exception of complex ultraviolet spectrum skin patterning. Individual lampreys can break off from the primary mass and move under their own power, acting similar to non-anomalous specimens. These motile units will remain in the vicinity of 218's primary body until captured and eaten by colony members. The central mass of 218 contains the organism's primary organs, as well as a muscular foot for locomotion. 218 is capable of surviving out of water for up to an hour, though it is greatly inhibited in mobility. I know we were talking about a previous one that linked to 217, but this immediately makes me think of it. We had like bioluminescent lobsters. We made this thing operate on more criminals, and it just started making like a swarm of bioluminescent lampreys that devour themselves. Huh? Okay. Motile units of 218 produce a paralyzing toxin applied by bite or through the lamprey's mucus sheath. This toxin inhibits locomotor muscles and will numb the target to pain. All other internal and mental processes will continue unaffected. The paralyzing effect has not been observed to dissipate, and no effective counteragent has yet been discovered. Permanent paralysis. Early observation led researchers to believe that 218 reproduced through the parasitic implantation of motile units into a host body. This behavior has since been determined to be atypical feeding behavior, where numerous motile units will burrow within the body of still living prey for upwards of 48 hours before normal consumption resumes. Now, like it was making a noise like you're moving it with your hands or something. Stop now. Hope it doesn't happen again. It might just be the cable. The cable that came with this mic was too long, and it just kept disconnecting in and out. This current one's fine. It's a 2.0 USB cable, but I've noticed if it gets jostled at all, the mic starts to get fucky-wucky until I like unplug and replug it. So maybe that's what it was. Jostled the cable or something. Addendum 01, physical examination of 218 shortly after containment revealed that the primary mass contained several foreign objects preserved within the main body cavity. 218 was removed from its containment tank and tranquilized to allow for surgery. Objects removed from 218 include bullet, 33 pearls, averaging 3 centimeters in diameter. Holes bored through each indicate that they were previously part of a necklace. Bullet, 1 dolphin figurine carved out of smooth coral. Bullet, 2 gold bracelets. Bullet, 4 bone hairpins. Bullet, 1 tortoiseshell hair comb. Bullet, 1 bone figurine of 218. Shows signs of heavy wear through handling. Bullet, 1 human skeleton, being that of female child estimated to be between 4 and 6 years of age. Skeleton was similar to chalk in consistency and embedded with 135 pearls. bullet, scapula, believed to be that of a red deer, engraved with 3 humanoid figures, 2 adults and 1 child, presumed to be the subject and parents. So this is like, we must have discovered this off the coast of like some area, and this like just 8 local people, they had legends about it, and like the thing is, you don't go play in the water, the thing's gonna kill you. You don't realize it by the time you're getting eaten, because it's numbed you, and you're like, haha, why am I on the ground now? You look down and part of your leg's gone, and you didn't even feel it. Both the skeleton and artifacts date to approximately 7500 BCE, though do not resemble the artifacts of other Neolithic groups in the region of recovery. Addendum 02. 218's behavior became significantly more agitated after removal of the aforementioned objects. Entity would repeatedly beat against the walls of its tank or attempt to scale them. When one of the hairpins was placed back in the containment tank, 218 used one of its colony members as a manipulator to retrieve the pin, and then place it back inside its central cavity through means of a large sphincter. This dorsal sphincter was not present until the removal of the body and artifacts. Okay, it places like high value on the things it's eaten, and will fucking transmute itself just to fit like reacquiring its precious artifacts. What the fuck? Okay. Alive, animal, aquatic, Euclid, parasitic, predatory, toxic. Chalk skeleton. It's a kapu thing. Japanese murder frog. What? What? You mean kappa? a kappa? Kapu. I've never heard kapu for kappa. Japanese murder frog. Do kappas kill? 219. Item number 219. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. When not in use, 219 is to be kept in a dismantled state. All of 219's parts, as well as replacements for those parts, will be stored in the Engineering Division warehouse on the grounds of Site 43. 219 is not to be tested within 24 kilometers of any Foundation facility that houses Euclid or Keter class objects. Description: 219 is a mechanical device consisting primarily of an array of pistons driven by an electric motor which can be powered by attaching it to a separate generator. The entire machine is supported by a thorium alloy frame. The outer frame of each of 219's pistons are also made primarily of the same thorium alloy. Attached to the outside of 219 is a blank, that's a quadruple blank, IBM desktop PC, keyboard, and monitor, all shielded with shock-absorbent foam to prevent damage to them by 219's vibrations. When 219's computer is turned on, it automatically runs an earthquake generator program. Using the keyboard, a user can select up to 20 items from a list of commonly used construction materials, including multiple varieties of stone, soil, bricks, concrete, steel, iron, data expunged, and glass. Selecting the other option from the bottom of this list brings users to a different screen, enabling them to select other substances, including several types of wood, plastics, papers, and bone. A user may also choose to describe the properties of a material that is not currently on the list, name it, and save it to the list for future use. After selecting a given material, the user is asked to estimate the object's mass, volume, and select a general shape to describe it. It is not possible to key in the composition of 219 into 219. Any attempt to do so results in the computer displaying an error message and shutting down. So this thing is such a smart computer for documenting things. Why does it like generate earthquakes on command? Yeah, it's a cop. I forgot what it's called. You're good. After materials have been selected, the user is asked to specify a range of effect from 50 feet. Distances are given in English units to... what? Sextuple blank, 6 blanks, parentheses double blank miles, and set 2 timers, one to determine how long 219 will wait before activating once the program starts running. and when to determine how long it will run after it is activated. When all criteria have been filled in, the user may select Run to start 219 or Start Over to enter a different set of criteria. 219 cannot be shut down once a program begins running without being dismantled or damaged. When activated, 219's pistons oscillate and begin creating vibrations in the air to match the resonant frequency of the material selected by the user. Different sets of pistons create distinct resonances. These materials begin to vibrate in turn as they are struck by airwaves, eventually shattering or otherwise coming apart from the strain put on them by the oscillations. The waves created by each oscillator do not seem to have any effect on each other even when they are traveling through the same media, enabling 219 to resonate with any material simultaneously. Studies of how this is possible or how the effect might be duplicated have been inconclusive. So it's the principle of, like, you have a sophisticated enough computer that can, like, compute refracting, like, physical waves off of each other in airspace. You just continue to, like, rebound further waves off of that first bound. So you can store multiple waves within the first function, and then just keep bounding it in space. So, like, if it's mirrors refracting light, the first waveform sets up every other, like, rebound waveform. So if it's like a pulley system, we go. You get like 2 claps in real 3D space, and then every other clap leads to, like, the functional clap. Maybe it's not like the real amount of things there, but we say, like, it amps up, and then we get the function out of, like, the audio reverberation or whatever. 219 was recovered in blank blank California after an incident in which a heavy earthquake hit a city suburb without any prior warning from seismic geologists. Eyewitness reports gathered from survivors indicated the seismic disturbance had effects similar to that of a quake registering 8.8 on the Richter scale over a space of only 20 kilometers. Examination of the surrounding area showed far more subtle structural damage than should be possible for a quake of any magnitude, and the bodies of multiple people who died of massive internal cranial trauma, including several cases where the entire skull had apparently exploded. Foundation agents found 219 in the rubble of a collapsed house, along with some packaging materials and spare parts. The house's previous owner was one blank blank who was later found dead of a gunshot wound to the head in a hotel in Boulder, Colorado. So, I was thinking about this and then I just read more into it right now. This sounds like, again, the idea of, like, we have magic bullshit in the future that we can apply to anything. Some asshole just throws a bunch of, like, metal parts together for, like, an old IBM mainframe. Assembles some bullshit and then wha-bam, applies the magic spell. The thing doesn't even have to normally do this shit. But because we put, like, the future technology on it, now it works. Included with the remains of the packaging was a diagram of a large funnel-shaped object, attached with a complex of tubes to 219, and instructions for how this resonance focuser was intended to be used. Its intended purpose, according to these instructions, was to channel the resonance waves generated by 219 on a much more linear trajectory, increasing the range of the machine in a single direction by %. The instructions suggest several applications for this attachment, including a makeshift offensive wave cannon, a tunnel carving device, and a resonant annihilator function created by turning the focuser downwards. Footnote 1, that is towards the ground and parallel to the direction of Earth's gravitational pull, and keying the composition of the Earth's core into 219. The search for this missing attachment is still ongoing. So this just makes me think this is like a terraforming machine, and it became an earthquake object because, like, some asshole got a hold of it. Addendum. For those who wish to use 219 for demolition purposes, note that 219 will work most effectively if it is on level, solid ground. Also note that for buildings utilizing an internal metal frame for support, 219 is better used to target the frame than the materials built around it. If 219 is still running but the vibrations appear to have stopped, disconnect the power supply and check to see if the oscillators have ground away the surface underneath themselves. They may not work properly if the ground the machine is set on is also shaking. You may need to move 219 to a more durable foundation to ensure that it works properly. Consult User Manual 219-01 for more information. Dr. Chung. Addendum. Despite the obvious similarities to Nikola Tesla's earthquake machine, see SCP triple blank dash single blank, 219 clearly must have been built at least double blank years after Tesla's data expunged. Given what we know about data expunged, it is most likely that whoever built 219 simply took Tesla's designs and expanded on them. Dr. Chung. This makes me think the Foundation contacted Tesla, but I don't know. I'm more talking about like what people are talking about on Reddit right now. Electrical, geological, mechanical, safe, vibration. Yeah, the Law of One is talking about at least NHI, I think, says that contacted, in a way, Tesla to give technology or something. I don't know. There's a photo for 220. Photo of the caption is photo of SCP-220 taken outside his window. The caption for the image, or I'm sorry, the name of the image is Old Couple spacebar parentheses 1 hyphen new.jpg. It's a black and white photo. It appears to have kind of like Instagram-like fringes around the edges that make it just slightly curved. There is a very stark line at the top third of the image, angling from the bottom left, climbing to the top right. It's pretty black. There might be like the fringes of something up there, but I don't see much. Below that is a white wall with what appears to be like either blurred text or just something slightly shadowy against it. The wall is slightly degraded in some areas, it looks like. The wall has a presumably wooden seat pressed up against it. There's a old man sitting on it. To the left is what appears to be just like a large black cylindrical object. I'm not sure what it is. But along the outer rim, it appears to have writing or some, I don't know, just pattern. Closer in on another internal ring, further inward on that black object, there's another piece of writing or like a black handle. It could be like black squares or something. I'm not sure. It's hard to make out what it is, but it's a black cylindrical object with what appears to be like a cap on top, level with the seat. The seat has wooden slats, maybe like 24 of them, and there's a metal bracket underneath it. There's a shadow underneath the seat, and then along the floor there's just like a slightly grayish floor. I can't even make out what texture it is. Maybe metal. The old man is wearing like black or blue slacks. He has what appears to be just casual wear on, you know, white socks. It looks like Adidas flip-flops. He's got his cane in between his legs, placed on one of the slats of wood on the seat, and he's holding, with one hand lower, one hand higher, the cane in front of his face. He's looking beyond the cane. The cane is placed in front of his nose and mouth. He's holding his left hand in front of the nose and mouth. His right hand is below it, holding the cane. His other eye is presumably looking as well, but the old man is wearing what looks like a sport coat, a little darker than his pants. It's buttoned up. And he's wearing what looks like a beanie, like a very old beanie. I picture like fucking 1860s, like fucking gold rush era. There's not much else to tell about this image. He made an iPhone fused with magic. Bastard made my catalytic converter into a teleportation machine. We're getting some good commentary in the chat right now. Okay, this should be the last one for tonight. Thank you for enjoying this with me. Item number 220, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. 220 is housed in a one-bed, one-bath unit in an empty condominium. The subject believes the building to be occupied by other residents and should persist in this belief. A false bus stop has been installed near the building's entrance. This measure is sufficient to deter 220 from leaving the containment area. The anomaly will approach the bus stop, sit on the adjacent bench, and remain there for 30 minutes to an hour before returning indoors. 220's room is equipped with a telephone connected to an automated recording device. These recordings, in combination with several video surveillance feeds, are used to determine 220's medical, dietary, and other personal needs. In light of Incident 220P, in the event that in-person contact with the anomaly is absolutely necessary, only D-Class subjects may enter the containment area. Any person who has been exposed to 220 must be quarantined immediately and maintained in complete isolation, including from phone or radio contact. Description: 220 has the appearance of a multiracial, English-speaking human male. According to his birth certificate, he is 84 years old as of 05/15/2012. Or 05/15/12, if you want to just say the year 12. I don't know why you would. 220 is believed to be a single humanoid entity. Depending on the time of day, he will adopt the name, memories, and mannerisms of one of two distinct persons. Any human subject who converses with 220, regardless of which mannerism he has adopted, will perceive two physically distinct people instead of one. From 5 a.m. EST until 8 p.m. EST, 220 will identify himself as Ollie G. Blank, the name that corresponds with his birth certificate. From 10 p.m. EST until 5 a.m. EST, he will identify himself as Ormond Garibaldi. During the period between 8 p.m. EST and 10 p.m. EST, this distinction is unclear. Subjects do not exhibit fear, distress, or confusion when conversing with 220. However, the effect of these conversations, perceiving the anomaly as two persons, appears to be irreversible. Regardless of whether an individual is informed of 220's nature before or after their exposure to the anomaly, their recollection of speaking to both Ollie and Ormond will persist. If a subject's in-person contact with 220 exceeds 5 minutes, they'll begin to display additional signs of disorientation, easily forgetting their purpose in entering a room, the date and time, or the subject of a conversation. This effect too is irreversible. If a subject is in contact with 220 for more than 10 minutes, this disorientation degrades into a state researchers have described as perception mitosis. Affected individuals will begin to perceive every person and individually every living thing and solid object as two instead of one. Acutely affected subjects appear to believe one or both of their conversation partners is a close friend or relative, regardless of their prior association with the individual. It's like duplicity of ideas after a while or something. Ideology. In the case of objects, the subject may interact with the original item as well as the empty space occupied by an illusory item, or they may lose spatial awareness altogether. View Incident 220P. Close file. A secondary, more serious effect of contact with 220 was discovered during psychiatric evaluation of D7905 by Dr. Palermo. D7905 had been in conversation with 220 for a period of 11 minutes. In the course of their subsequent psychiatric evaluation, they began to refer to Dr. Palermo as alternately as doctor and father. 30 minutes into this evaluation, Dr. Palermo also began to display signs of confusion, addressing the interviewee as both D7905 and Anthony. This incident had established that 220's effect may be highly contagious and spread via in-person contact. 15 individuals were subsequently quarantined, but not before it was discovered that the contagiousness of these symptoms increases with their severity. Individuals who observe 220 via audio or audio-visual recordings demonstrate no anomalous effects, provided that these recordings do not take the form of a two-way conversation with 220. Whether this is also true of individuals affected by 220 has not been tested at this time. Addendum 1. On 01-26-12, 220 suffered a fall. D-9120 was instructed to assess the subject's injuries. 220's emotional distress was observed to exacerbate his influence on D-9120, who became rapidly disoriented, forgetting her objective. D-9002 was instructed to retrieve 9120 from the containment site and was also indisposed by these symptoms, though at a notably slower rate. D-9120 and D-9002 were subsequently quarantined. Addendum 2. The following is a complete list of requests made by 220 via phone. Requests granted are supplied while 220 is occupied with his daily ritual of walking around the building's lobby 5 times. Requests denied are communicated by a note of apology from the condominium's manager citing the item's unavailability. View requested items. Requests made by 220 while identifying as Ormond. Arthur Conan Doyle's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, granted. A pair of silk house slippers, granted. A French coffee press, grinder, and coffee beans, granted. An electric kettle, granted. A request that management post his open invitation to a chess tournament for other guests to see, denied. Denial phrased as best postponed until the busy season. Request made by 220 while identifying as Ollie. A picture of his wife. Strike-through denied. Records indicate that Ollie G. Blank was never married. Granted on strike-through. With permission, Assistant Researcher Evans has supplied a photograph of her deceased grandmother. Tylenol PM. Granted. Dosage limited to 2 tablets. An address book. Granted. 220 has been observed to write in this book frequently. A request for a call to be put through to his granddaughter. Denied. 220 has no record of family. Denial phrased as number unavailable. A bicycle. Denied. A guide to bird watching in Florida. Granted. A pair of binoculars. Granted. A chess set. Granted. Between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m. EST, 220 has been observed intently engaged with a chessboard, crossing back and forth to play each side. Alive, contagion, humanoid, mind-affecting, safe, sentry. That was interesting. Bren Win. Holy fucking shit. I just remembered I can play Payday 2 in VR. It's so fucking jank though. Hey, have fun. Alright, that was reading some Foundation articles. I hope you enjoyed. That was very, very fun. And yeah, it kind of deepens the mystery a little bit. And also provides answers. So that was 211 through 220. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, that's going to do it for me, homies. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was fun for you. I hope it was a blast. And I will see you in the next one, okay? Peace out. Farewell for now. You're doing it? Alright, have a blast. Oh, you're not doing it. You're too eepy. Go eat some food. Go to bed. I'm going to eat some food. I'm going to go to bed, too. Alright, peace out. See ya.